Hello, fellow grognards. It's Al here. I am joined by Matt, and tonight we are also joined by Karl. Hello, Karl.
Yo.
The reason we've got Karl here today is A, because he's a fine chap, and B, because we're going to have a look at the Horus Heresy, and that's kind of Karl's bag. So,
Play a little bit.
Hopefully, that will continue with season or version 3 of it, and they don't fuck it up. But we will talk about the Horus Heresy in a moment. Before we do so, we will, as is tradition, have a quick look at whatever news GW have thrown our way. Next week for releases, we've got the Thousand Suns and the Wood Elves. So,
I am pleased with this because it means I don't have to spend any money.
Yeah, while it's safe for another week. That Codex cover's quite nice, though. They have done a really good job of those. But apparently, the scalpers have been getting in, and these limited edition ones here with the medallion. They've been going for like 4 times their actual amount. Like,
just fucks
immediately as pre-orders go up, they're sold out and they're on eBay 5 minutes later. The thing is, well, what makes it even worse with these is that they make something when they're all together, so you want all 4. If you've only got 3, you're like, well,
it's no good.
Fucking pointless, isn't it? Because I can't make the full medallion, so...
Thing is, with supply issues and stuff, like having things like that, it's almost like you don't want to get started with it because you know this is going to happen.
Exactly, yeah, exactly that. That's it. You'd be like, well, why would I bother getting the first one? Because odds are I am not going to be able to get all 4.
Yeah, you just get slapped with what's the point-itis.
It's like the limited edition Siege of Terror books. The last one came round, the death and whatever it is, the end and the death. And then suddenly it was just scalped through the moon because everybody knew that they wanted to complete their collection of whatever, 9 books, and people would pay through the wazoo for it. They even had people in the queue at Warhammer World when they released a load of extras, like overnight, to scalp it.
Yeah, I would 100% have bought all of the special editions of the Siege of Terror series if I knew that I wasn't going to have a chance of missing out on one of them or having to fight online for it.
Exactly. You got like 11 books out of 12. I don't know how many there are, and you've got to pay an extortionate amount of money for that last book, which is why I just don't bother with this shit now. I just if I see something that's really nice, it's limited edition. If I can get it nice, good. If I can't, I just don't worry about it. I'm not going to pay scalpers. I'm not going to pay those stupid prices. I'm not going to play that game. Fuck all that shit.
I mean, I'm pretty much I'm in the same position with like the old first edition Heresy Black books.
Yes.
More, except for Malevolence, because I went to Warhammer World and they were like, "Oh, we've run out. We'll do a new run soon." And I was like, "Okay, thanks." Did a new run. Fucking paperback.
Never saw it again.
Paperback.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you don't want that, especially with how good the black books are. Like those leather-bound, silver-clad editions, they're fantastic.
Exactly, and they're some of the best books I've ever done.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you
eBay for like 400 quid, and I'm like, I want it, but I don't want it that much. You can fuck yourself.
Well, the book I want doesn't even fucking show up on eBay. That's how rare it is. It's a Jez Goodwin Drukhari sketchbook, Dark Elder. So like the really nice older one that he did with all the Aspect Warriors and all that kind of stuff. There's a Dark Elder version, but they released it once, and I saw it on the table at GW. Didn't pick it up, and it's like that's one of my big regrets. And I'm like, you can't. You go looking for it. It just doesn't exist. I don't know how many they made. I'm astonished they haven't reprinted it, to be honest, especially, given that Jez Goodwin probably will be leaving or retiring at some point soon. You think it'd be a no-brainer, but there you go. So here's your Thousand Suns Battle Force. I hate these stupid robot things. Matt, I know you're okay with them. Karl.
I can't stand them.
Yay!
I love robots. Cannot stand these things. At first I thought it might be the colour scheme, but it's not. I really cannot stand the design of these things. Yeah. When you look at them from the back as well, they look ridiculous.
Yeah, there's like no detailing on the back. It's all on the front.
Yeah, it's all unarmoured on the back. Which
is really weird. It's like a sculptor didn't have time to finish it. And they're like, can we have a look at the back? No. It's fine. It's fine. It looks the same. It's good. It's fine. There's no 360s.
They were like, this is a robot. It's never going to run away. Doesn't need any armour on the back. Just put it all on the front and make it look fancy.
Yeah.
The Horus Heresy has dedicated Mechanicum units for the Thousand Suns, and they look incredible.
And they look incredible.
Why on earth you didn't do a sort of warp-corrupted version of that, I'll never know.
Yeah, especially seeing as we're getting plastic automata and everything at the moment anyway. I mean, hell, you could pretty much just release a fucking sprue add-on to change a few bits on it, and it would look better than these. I think I just don't know what they're meant to be. It's awful. It's terrible.
The dimensions on them really make me look at those ridiculous Paragon warsuit things the sisters about.
Yep, I hate those too.
I really don't like them. Someone pointed out these robots look like they've got high heels on as well, and that's it.
They do. Yeah, blatantly.
It's like the Reaver Crocs.
Yeah, it's because they're like gold and bling, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's 150 odd quid. I think these are coming in at, and I suppose it's a half decent starter for an. I mean, but just. I don't know. I don't like these. The money's getting ridiculous. The Combat Patrol's not too sad, though, I thought. Get that old Demon Prince in there again. That's a good old model.
It's great.
It's a great model. It's one of my favourites.
Yeah, my only issue with Combat Patrol Thousand Suns is, a fair amount of it is not Thousand Suns.
Yes. Well, at least we've got rid of all the, Zangors they did. Now we've got the Zangor Enlightened on the discs, which is at least a little bit better. And kind of makes you want to play Space Marine 2 again because they were awesome in that. But
I don't really understand the mentality behind a lot of these combat patrols. If I'm 1,000 Suns, if I'm looking to pick up 1,000 Suns army, I'm gonna want 1,000 Suns. I would get rid of an outlaw. I would have rather had another couple of sorcerers or something.
Yeah. It does seem weird. Chucking in sort of what you would. I mean, I know you can use them in war in 40k, but there is nothing about those models that means they can't be used in Age of Sigmar. They've not got any guns. They've just got discs and staves. So I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, pretty much agnostic, aren't they?
They're going to be crossover, aren't they? So as you say, it's a little bit weird that we haven't got any sort of dedicated Zinch cultists or anything like that. But yeah, the Demon Prince is a good model. So these are like 90 odd quid, I think, 95 quid.
I do like that they're putting the Demon Prince in several of these combat patrols.
Yes.
He's a really good big bad, and he's such a customizable kit.
Yeah, loads of options. Loads of options on them. And as I say, I quite like these guys. I mean, I'm not going to do 1,000 Suns because I'm pretty much cooked on 40k, to be honest. But I think this one's, not too bad. Not too bad. But as you say, a good chunk of it isn't 1,000 Suns. I mean, would you lose these and that for a squad of Terminators? Yeah, I think you probably would, to be honest. And then you've got 10 rubrics, 5 Terminators, and a Demon Prince. That's a pretty good start. So, then to be honest, the Terminators are probably overcosted for Combat Patrol. Maybe I don't know what the points cost for these are, but I know that some of them are absolutely wild.
Yeah, Combat Patrols are supposed to be fairly balanced amongst each other, aren't they? So
they're meant to be. I mean,
you're supposed to be able to pick up a Combat Patrol and play another Combat Patrol.
I still don't know how you can balance Custodes against Orcs or Imperial Guard. I just don't.
How does balancing them work when the FAQs are pretty much constant for 40k? I really don't understand it.
I presume it comes with a link in the booklet to just go to the latest version of the rules.
Yeah,
I've said before that
in the codex.
Yeah, exactly. I've said before that the codex is at this point should basically made out of that same material that sticker books were made out of. So you could just get the latest FAQ and it gets released in White Dwarf as stickers, and you just put it over your old book.
I actually think it's kind of a sad state of affairs where your game is so kind of untested and unsort of play tested.
Yeah.
That you actually put a QR code in your book to invalidate them.
Yes. Well, I mean, I didn't do a video on it. I was going to do a video on it, but I didn't get round to it. But Kill Team has basically been completely redone. And that Saint and whatever they were, you had these Sanctum guys against the stupid blood guys that we didn't like.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, they put a thing on saying, these are broken, so we've reduced people have told us that these are way too powerful, so we've reduced the amount of... did you not even fucking play test this at all?
Oh man, not Kill Team as well.
Yeah, Kill Team as well. Completely fucked.
I'm laughing at that first Leagues of Votan book that came out. That
was hilarious.
Before it was released.
Yeah.
Their army box, yeah.
Yeah. Literally, we've had to increase all of your points by a third because the book's so broken we can't actually release it in its current state. Yeah, they actually had the grace to do an apology for that one, thankfully. But in general, it's just any game you play, you're fucked. You pick up the book. I mean,
Except Heresy.
I can't believe GW still sell the 10th edition 40k book because the rules section of it is just completely. You may as well just rip it out and just throw it away. Put a load of photocopies in there because it's not the same game. And the worst thing about this is. We're now into the last year of this edition, which admittedly I haven't played, and it's still not fucking fixed. They They're still making changes to like core rules and stuff.
One of the biggest things that puts me off of playing 10th edition, other than the fact it is 10th edition and terrible,
and the rules were written with crayons.
If I
chewed crayons at that.
Club, if I bought a combat patrol and I was turning my local gaming club, I've got to make sure my opponent is playing the right version of the current edition. That coincides with what I'm doing.
No, you're 100% right. Not only have you got to make sure that your rules are up to date, you've got to know all of the other 26 fucking factions to make sure you're not being screwed over. And because the rules change, not always on a massive level, sometimes it's just a little thing here or there, it'd be easy to miss. You know?
Yeah, so I'm still a firm believer in release your rule set, and then your FAQ should be like once a year or something. Once every 6 months.
I don't know.
You can't just constantly update it to the point where no one knows what page they're on with everyone else.
I think
Heresy, is that you?
If you're going to do that, that's absolutely fine. I appreciate the fact that you're going to continually patch your game like a developer would, but don't fucking charge for it.
Either that or just release a tournament version of the game that has to be constantly updated.
Or do that. I've been saying this for years. Have 2 different versions of 40k. Have a nice narrative, fluffy version that we all really want to play, and then have a super toned, super sort of tuned, competitive version that everybody can play to sweep a load of models into a box.
They were kind of onto that with the 3 ways to play, weren't they?
Yeah, but the thing is, nobody used it. That was the problem. Because the first version was literally get your models together and go pew, 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 do whatever you want, throw whatever you want in there. You want tyrannies with space marines, go nuts, do it. There was no framework at all.
I would have friendly and competitive versions.
And that's exactly what I would do. Yeah, I would just have a narrative version, and then I would have a competitive tournament version, because they desperately want it to be an e-sport. This is what GW want. GW desperately want to be able to sell rights to watch people play 40k. That's kind of what they want. That's the end goal.
I think it's more they simply want to mess up the meta so they can make people buy things.
Oh, I mean,
that's what it really is.
They could do that anyway. I mean, there was always every army that can power creep. They always used to have power creep. And to be fair, this is probably the first edition where we've not had continual power creep, because there's been 2 codexes at a time, and one of them is good and one of them is shit, because there's one team doing good work and there's one team that just doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Even at this point, I think all 3 of us know that when the 11th edition eventually comes out, we're all going to look at it and be like, all right, anyway, when's Heresy coming out?
Yeah, I mean, 11th might be the first one that I don't buy. 10th was going to be, because of these very reasons, but because they did Space Ultramarines and Tyranids in the box set, and they were my first ever armies back in 2nd edition, I was like, yeah, you son of a bitch, I'm in, But with 11th rumoured to be like orcs and some things, like, I don't care. So unless Kirsty really turns around and goes, oh yeah, they're amazing, I want them, which is very unlikely, because the game's also impossible to teach to somebody. Because again, you're like, well, I'm going to teach you these rules, they'll probably be different by next month. It's a fucking nightmare.
I was in Games Workshop, Warhammer now, a few days ago, and I was looking at the Emperor's Children Combat Patrol.
Yes, yeah.
And I can't imagine why they've released the Combat Patrol, and the signature unit for that army is not in the box. Knock off Palatine Blades, whatever they're called.
Yeah, these are the long heads, cone heads. They look stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite. I really do like some of the Emperor's Children, like the new.
I love the Lord, man. I think the Lord is one of the.
I really like them.
The Lord Exultant is one of the best models I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I really like
really
them.
Nice.
But what am I going to do with them? So I'm just. It would be £100. I just don't.
Yeah, which is exactly what I'm looking at with these Thousand Suns. It's like I'd get them, I'd paint them, and I'd enjoy painting them. Don't get me wrong, but when am I going to get round to it? I've got a massive backlog already. No, so that's just a no. But yeah, it is interesting what they're doing with 40k, and I don't think they're going to do anything different for 11th, because they are making the money. There's your standard dice for 20 quid and your bloody cards for 20 quid because DLC, and then we get some Wood Elves, which is nice. Bit of a blast from the past here.
Some of them are very blasting from the past.
Oh yeah, I mean these ones at the back were released in the last edition of Warhammer, if I remember correctly, and I don't like them. I actually don't like these models. But these classic ones down here, the Weight Watchers and everything, yeah, solid, really nice. And it's just nice to see these armies come back. And I think Old World is just it is just a nostalgia grab for sure. For the people who don't like Age of Sigmar. But
the amount of people I've come across that they're seeing Old World as an opportunity to buy old models and paint them rather than actually playing the game.
Oh yeah, no, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that's more or less why I am as well, because there is something about having a nice ranked army. There is. It looks awesome, and then it looks awesome as a collection. So I can totally see that, because I was the same. I was like, I really would like to do a ranked 40k, a ranked fantasy army. But one thing, a lot of these sculpts have been majorly outpaced by companies like Highland Miniatures, who do generic fantasy models that will pass for this no problem. And two, the proportions on some of these models are not as good as you remember. Giant hands and stuff.
I think the big hook is the nostalgia element, though.
Yes, yeah.
They might as well call it Warhammer, the old bastards.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Retro hammer, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you got Orion here with his puppers, and these are all old models that we remember. I'm pretty sure this is an old Darren Latham back when he first started sculpting. When he first got to grips with it, he stopped being a studio painter and started being doing some sculpting and stuff. I mean, look at that. That model's like 40 years old now. It's got to be. As I said, it's got to be 40 years.
Somebody looks it.
40 years to be what? 86? Yeah, it's got to be not far off.
Terrible and great at the same time.
Yes, yeah, it is. And this was the charm behind Warhammer, wasn't it? It was like goofy as fuck, but cool as fuck at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think it even felt that goofy at the time, though.
No, at the time it didn't.
Standard.
Yeah, I mean, now you've got these massively sophisticated, overly busy, in my opinion, engineered models that back in the day we could not even envision having anything like that. I remember when they brought out the first Chaos Warrior plastic box set. I was just blown away. I was like, what? Ranking them up was a bit of a bastard, but I was like, what? I can have any weapon I want? Because up until then, you just had metal models, blisters.
Oh, I vaguely remember those, actually. Yeah, really, really cool models. You clipped the shield and the sword on, didn't you?
Yeah.
The axe, whatever they were carrying.
So, yeah, and then you've got these guys as well. I mean, that's a really nice model. I don't know about the bird. Bird's a bit... Something going on with that bird. But he's got like the Loki horns and everything. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, some of these elves were Gary Morley specials, because that's one thing he was quite good at, was doing the elves. But there's definitely a charm to these models that doesn't exist with Age of Sigmar.
Oh, 100% agree. Bonus points for having ranks of cats.
Yeah, I think that branch rate was probably the most modern of the high elf, wood elf models.
I actually thought that was a more recent model. I thought it was one of the. Is it Sylvaneth? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think they did a reversion of this for the Sylvaneth.
You can use it in Sylvaneth. I think there's a branch Wraith and a branch Witch.
Yeah.
And they're quite similar.
But as I say, the Wood Elf's got an addition up, or got a range update with the end of Warhammer Fantasy, with the Island of Blood. At some point around there, they were redone. But yeah, and you've got the plastics. And as I say, these Weight Watchers were still great kits. No problem with these at all. Glade Guard, is it? I can't remember.
I'm vaguely recalling it from playing Total Warhammer.
Yeah. And these horses were pretty good, because some of the horses were a bit rough back in the day, so these were obviously redone. And I say these were the only ones I didn't really like. These are a little bit of Age of Sigmar-y for me. Apparently there's something in World of Warcraft that's a bit like these. So
I keep wanting to say Sisters of Force.
Oh, the Drost.
That's it.
Yeah,
the Drost.
Yeah, they're nice enough models. Don't get me wrong. Just not for me. You give me that, or you give me that, and I want these all day long, basically. But yeah, they're coming out, and then as I say, you've got some really old stuff, the War Dancers. Although I think these again were redone. Rangers, I guess.
I like that champion. It reminds me of the elf you briefly see in the I'm showing up my age a little bit here. The Mark of Chaos computer game, like the cinematic.
Oh yes,
like the Shadow Dancer kind of.
Yeah.
The pretty thing, but it's
the one that pulls the priest away.
Yeah. That's such a good intro. I never played the game, but I remember that intro.
That was incredible.
How much stuff is there? And some more hawks or falcons or whatever. Pretty cool.
I'm not too sure on riding one of them with its falcon hat still on, though.
Yeah, they're just cool, man. I mean, I did want to do a kind of a video like is Grimdark automatically related to the crudeness of a model? Our model's just too sophisticated and too high definition and too high fidelity now to be grimdark? You know, is it those two intrinsically linked?
I think a lot of it is down to how Games Workshop paints them.
That also doesn't help. Massively doesn't help.
If you look at the new Lucius the Eternal model,
God.
I think with a better paint job, he looks fantastic.
I don't know. You got to get rid of the vials and stuff all over the place. It's just so stupid.
I don't know. I think you could do something with that. I don't like that. Everything they do is very, very clean, and it makes everything look a bit too.
Oh God! They didn't even finish with the bloody high elves. Guy with the jellyfish, who's also released late on, and some cute frogs, and then Warhammer Plus, which nobody gives a shit about. One thing got showed off on Monday. Quite a lot of contention over this because it's borderline pointless in mine and Matt's eyes, and that was this, which we were talking about in the chat, Karl. What's your take on this knight, mate? Because we think it's a bit stupid. Knight Defender. You've got a Knight Warden, and now you've got a Knight Defender.
I just saw it as a cynical way of extracting more money out of people that collect knights.
Holy shit. It's like he's got a point. Yeah, I mean, I said to Matt that at this point, I think...
Same kit.
Exactly. It needed redoing.
On it.
You know, you compare this to the Chaos Knight kit. It's got those awesome legs and everything. And this is just getting really boring at this stage. We've just got the same knight body, and they've just got two different arms.
If they really want to do something knight players, make those legs posable.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, you can totally do it. Those pistons underneath the sort of hips, that can all be posed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can. If I remember correctly, I think you can choose a couple of different poses, but it's still just always striding. You know, if you want to make it so it's standing on top of something like a tank, you've got a lot of cutting to do. Which, you know,
the
who
thing
wants to do
is,
that?
on the tabletop, if you plonk a knight down and he's in that pose, it's absolutely fine. If you plonk 5 knights down and they're on that pose, it looks stupid.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. And just having a little void generator on top of him like a hat is just like...
I'm still kind of annoyed they gave the knights an atomantic purvase before they ever released the Doridio one.
Yeah.
That's not gone now in second edition.
Yeah, it was so late they actually cancelled it, but they gave a knight one.
Yeah, it's just stupid as well because obviously it's a void shield. It's supposed to only be able to have those with Titans because of the power draw.
Titans and Storm Eagles.
You know.
I also like that.
Yeah, but Storm Eagles are a hell of a lot smaller.
There's this massive generator like humming and buzzing 2 feet above the pilot's head.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine with 2 massive energy weapons. You know.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to Alan. Like, does it just lug its reactor behind it on like a fucking barrow? It's too big. I don't know.
World War I trench tank.
Yeah.
Like the Solar Auxilia, like in Furnace tanks.
Yeah, I mean, I get it because...
Sorry, a conversion beamer and a plasma weapon of some
sort. Yeah, so you gave us 2 energy weapons and a void shield generator. Like, sorry, we're too busy firing. We can't move.
You've got knights,
or something,
and you can't do anything with knights. That's the problem. Like, you can't even do a combat patrol with knights because it's just impossible. They're a stupid army. They probably shouldn't be in the game, in my opinion. Along with many other factions, I'd get rid of fucking Custodes as well, mate.
I would 100% get rid of Custodes.
Absolutely pointless.
Not because I hate them, but because I don't think they should have ever been an army. They should have been like a 0 to 1 option. In the
Agree. Yeah, should have been able to have one unit in a unit of an Imperial army. Because all they do is they just put the Space Marines down, and the Space Marines are meant to be the elite, and it's like, well, now we've got more elite than elite. And
until Master of Mankind came out, they weren't 10,000 strong. They were supposed to be literally the bodyguards of the Emperor.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's not many of them at all. Well, I mean, let's face it, they've done retcon after retcon after retcon. You know, now we've got girl Custodes and everything, but yeah, no, I would get rid of them as a faction completely. I think I will die on the hill. 40k is far too bloated for its own good.
They're just Stormcast Eternals for 40k.
Yeah. You know, there's too much of it. 26 factions, I would say now. It's just absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Yeah. How could you balance all of that? You couldn't. You know, and the Eldar, they've been trying to balance the Eldar for the entire edition, and they couldn't do it. They had to get rid of their special rule and just give it to one detachment. Because they couldn't balance it, because it was broken. It was fundamentally broken. And yet people had to play like half an edition with those broken rules. The indexes came out, and me and Matt watched an Eldar army kill 1.5 Knights armies.
Yeah, they tabled them and then put half of them back on, didn't they?
Yeah.
They put the army back on and they wrecked another half.
Yeah. Like, beyond broken. I'm like, GW, this is your fucking job.
Yeah. Although as a Knights player, I must say I'm okay with Knights being a deployable force by themselves because it is quite lore appropriate.
Not in 40k. Not in 40k. In Apocalypse, sure.
No, I think it's all right in 40k. But I think what they probably should have done was limited the amount of like Questoris pattern and up that you can take, and maybe introduced more support units like Skitarii infantry or not Skitarii.
I do the ally rules. I really would. I do the ally rules. 25% of your army can be allies. Bang, there you go, done. That's all you get. Same as it was in back in the day. 25%. If that buys you one Knight Questoris, that buys you one Knight Questoris. If it buys you two Helverins or whatever the fuck they're called, it buys you two of those. That's it. That's all you get.
I think the problem is it's just the scale of what they are. You can't really have them in a small game.
No, you can't. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
The overall game.
Yeah, I mean, one of the worst things that Games Workshop ever did, which absolutely gimps large models, is to get rid of blast templates.
Yes, yeah.
Like, you got an Apocalypse launcher. I think that was one of the few things that used the Clover blast template, which was like, what, 5 inches, like in a pattern, like a Clover? You know, and
the Apocalypse blast, yeah. I would keep multi-knight. I would keep like a knight army, more than 3 or 4 knights. I would keep to Apocalypse. Simple as that. Simple as that. Like 1 or 2 is the most you should be able to get in the game of 40k. Because as soon as you've got an army full of knights, it's just pointless. It's stupid.
I probably would have had like knight households be a thing where like they come with a bit of a disclaimer, like you can buy the codex and they're treated as a supplement to various imperial armies.
Yeah,
until
like
you get to a points threshold, and then you can start,
It's like flyers. Flyers just don't.
Knight household, you can, but they have to be within a higher points threshold to do it.
Flyers just don't work in the game. Some things just don't work in 40k. They've made it as big as they possibly can. They got rid of Apocalypse, so now they're like, oh, you can just have these great big armies and everything. But every single time, and I mean every single edition they release, they turn around and say, "Yep, we've made a game that can be played in an hour." Have you bollocks? Never happened. Never happened. Complete lies. Each edition of 40k should come with an apology for the last fucking edition, in my opinion. Really should at this point. Because 9th, basically, didn't even have a proper lifespan because of COVID. Everybody was locked up in their houses, weren't able to play. They still replaced it after 3 years with 2 price rises, and then they go and fuck up 10th as well.
At this point, every 40k release for me is like a raised eyebrow and a bit of a chuckle while having a cup of tea. It's just. What on earth are you doing with it this week?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to be a particularly egregious opinion either. There's a hell of a lot of people who just say, look, Warhammer 40k's just got loads of massive problems, and it's making GW loads of money because they bring out a new army and people go and buy that army.
They've done down to the point where it's kind of moot.
Yeah,
it kind of go hand in hand, really. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You've got the meta players that maybe keep them afloat. But
every time something like this happens with 40k, I just think, oh, thank God we've got Heresy.
Yeah. Well, every time something like this happens with 40k, it's just literally like it's
I can play an older edition, but all the new shit doesn't get any support. So
isn't in it? Yeah, exactly.
I'm supposed to make up rules for it myself.
Yeah, precisely.
And a lot of it has different base sizes and stuff, which is incompatible.
How much free time do you think I have?
Certain things that just don't exist and weren't designed
on the same page.
Vehicle rules. You've got so many vehicles now that like, oh, we can't. We're just going to give them wounds and stuff, and it's just like, well, you've just made the game boring. All right, I keep shooting your tank until it falls apart. There's no way to do anything to it. I can't immobilise. I can't do any of this stuff that I used to be able to do back in the day. Any flavour is gone. Oh man, I don't know. Like knights, have knights existed in an edition where you could just disable one of the weapons? Because how cool would that be? I've just blown off your right arm. You could always do it with dreadnoughts. But have you ever been able to do it with knights? I don't think you have.
I think you owe me now.
Anyway, we said we're going to talk about Heresy, so let's talk about the Heresy. 40k, good luck with 11th. So they've done this kind of, this website, the Horus Heresy. They put a couple of extra pictures. So obviously we've got these ones down here. D18, no, that's not going to be happening. Obviously that's a troll.
It's a stupid dice size.
It is a stupid dice size. They're saying that they're maybe going to do a Saturnine Dreadnought. I hope they don't. Leviathans are fine. Why would you want something bigger than a Leviathan? It's just stupid. You've got even a Leviathan next to a tank, next to a knight looks huge. If you've got something bigger, then it's going to look dumb. This apparently is an Emperor's Children sprue coloured green.
There is the Telemon Dreadnought.
I don't like the Telemon either. I look stupid. I'm in the minority in this one, to be honest, because everybody else does seem to like it, but I think it looks dumb. It looks like an American football player with those huge shoulder pads. Can't do anything.
I'll show you really outside of 40k. I've never seen a Dreadnought I don't like.
I was about to say, I'm not sure you complain about shoulder pads when you play any kind of Warhammer with Marines in it.
Yeah, but Telemon's taken it to like 11, and Saturnine's going to take it to 12, I imagine. Just trying to think of a Dreadnought I don't like. I wasn't keen on the Redemptor to start off with, but it kind of grew on me in the end.
I don't like the Redemptor, and I hate his skinny little legs.
And it's Potbelly.
It's like the Dreadnought's alcoholic, football-loving dad.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. Abusive. That's why they called it the Brutalis. We've got some plastic objectives here, so we can get. I can see those being in Heresy. That makes a lot of sense. Because at this point, it's probably cheaper for GW to make plastic ones than it is to get card ones made in China. But then we've got this one. This one's
probably true.
Honestly, having worked in this kind of thing, it wouldn't surprise me if that is actually the case. Raw materials at the very least. But we've got this thing that looks like it might be part of a Saturnine shoulder pad. Obviously, we've never seen anything like that before.
See, they're trying to do the misdirect there, I think, for where it says Crux Terminatus. It's not. That looks like a void shield generator to me.
But it looks like some sort of shield emitter.
Yeah, I mean, do Saturnines? I've not used Saturnines. Do Saturnines have shields?
I would imagine they do, since that Cataphracti do.
Right. Okay.
Technically, all Terminators are supposed to have some sort of shielding.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's been a void shield that's been designed to look like a Crux Terminatus a little bit.
It
should always have a shield.
Should
always have a skull in the middle, in my opinion. But as I said, you got this as well, which is actually kind of shockingly low detail and quality, but maybe it's just a very, 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 very small part.
Is that a really thick mould line on the outside of it as well?
It kind of looks like one, doesn't it?
It just seems like yesterday that we got second edition. We was all buying big boxes.
Yes. Well, I was that was a bit of a weird turning point for me, because I got that box set and I got the damn thing finished and painted in about 4 weeks. Like I had an Ultramarine army. It's just done. I'm just like, yeah, there it is. It's all done, and not done much since, to be honest. So, yeah,
in the run up to that box set coming up, when we were trying to deduce exactly what was in the box set, I kind of guessed it correctly, but I spent 3 weeks beforehand making bases for everything that was going to be in that box, ready to go. So as soon as I got it, I was like, right, they're assembled.
Nice.
Undercoated on the bases, and then I can start highlighting everything else.
It was a great set. It did set a new price point for GW, 180 quid. But you got a shitload of stuff in there.
Like, it's not really.
Yeah, 30 Marines, a Contemptor, 10 Terminators, 2 really, really bad Praetors.
Yeah, and a Spartan.
I have a soft spot for the Axe guy, but that's about it.
And a Land Raider estate. Yeah.
What kills it for me is, you know how good the that Horus Heresy CGI trailer they did was?
Yes.
There's a bit in the trailer where they focus in on them and they do that weird head jerk thing that Disney characters do on the Praetors. And I can't unsee it. It makes me dislike the models.
Yeah, I mean, I would think we would get another one of those trailers. And I guess the Saturnines are going to be the highlight. But I'm just sitting here going, do we really need a third version of Terminators when we don't have Breachers and we don't have the Destroyer Marines? Do you know what I mean? And there's a hell of a lot of Primarchs that could do with redoing as well, because not everybody's got 100 quid to drop on a resin Primarch.
I don't think they'll ever get plastic. I think they'll just stay resin.
I reckon they'll be resin.
I don't know. I'd like to think
a list of wants and don't wants for this, and we're touching on some of it already.
I mean, resins are well and good, but you can't convert it, you can't pose it, you can't do anything with it. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's not. I mean, don't be wrong. I love the resin Fulgrim. It's one of the most beautiful models that's been released by Forge World.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah. Fulgrim, whatever his name was.
Transfigured.
Yeah. But the plastic one, I can't deny, is a lot more
game-friendly.
Convenient, game-friendly, less likely to snap if you put it in a case, that kind of stuff. It's going to hold up to the rigours of the tabletop and everything like that.
And transporting it and all that sort of stuff.
At the same time, they've barely touched upon some of the legions as it is.
Yeah.
Like we've had an entire edition that just seems to have been bloody
Imperial
Fist versus the Sons of Horus. That's 3 years. And this time round, it's Iron Warriors and Salamanders. Is that going to be another 3 years or just those two, So
on the bright side, it means those two legions might actually see some characters.
Possibly. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I don't see anything massively changing. What they've done with the Horus Heresy has worked thus far. You get some nice resin characters that you pick up, and you get a load of plastic kits for the tanks. That's just not worth it for Forge World to produce anymore in terms of quality and sort of quality assurance, like miscast and stuff like that. Big stuff like that is a pain in the arse to cast. I can speak from experience. Clear that line off of the resin, focus the resin in doing conversion parts and characters, and give us some more big plastic tanks that I'm sure they're going to charge like 120 odd quid for. So I think we'll get the Super Heavies for Space Marines this edition for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised we haven't seen things like the Fellblade, at least in plastic, because it uses bits of the Baneblade kit anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you haven't got to do a great deal with it. More or less just a new turret and the back of it, isn't it, really, that goes on top?
I'm genuinely surprised we haven't seen a Xiphon Fire Raptor or Storm Eagle.
Yes.
In plastic.
Yeah, I did definitely thought
Xiphon, at the very least. I can't believe we haven't seen a plastic Xiphon.
Yeah. I mean, the Horus Heresy has been a bit of a weird one, hasn't it, really? Because it took us like a year and a half to get Assault Marines, to get an Assault Marine sprue.
Yes, and I was incredibly calm about that the whole time.
There's no denying that the releases have been fucking weird for the Horus Heresy, because when it first started off, the first 6 months, it was like nothing but tanks. It's like tanks. You can use them all in 40k. You can use them all in 40k. New edition of 40k comes out. Can't use them in 40k.
That's a bunch.
It's like what? Tanks a lot. And then, you've had some plastic. I mean, I think they've done okay. I mean, the Solar Auxilia are pretty good. The plastic Solar Auxilia. It's nice to not have to spend 50 quid on 10 resin Solar Auxilia dudes. And the Mechanicum, even though a lot of Mechanicum still needs to come out. and we need those models.
You can have your all attacks when I get my Destroyer Marines.
Well, and breaches as well, man. I'm surprised they haven't done breaches. That's such an easy win.
Yeah.
Destroyers, breaches, recon squads. I'd like some actual scouts, please.
Yeah, some actual, recon. I mean, especially like if you want to play Raven Guard at the moment, you're like, oh, great. I'll use the same models as everybody else then, will I? And again, this is what I'm talking about with the flavour of the different legions doesn't come through. Because
all of these could be solved by an upgrade kit.
Yeah, exactly. Do a sprue with some fucking boarding shields on it. Sort of boarding shields and arms, that's all you need.
Boarding shields with, one-handed bolters and
what, grav gun
or las cutter or something like that.
Melter, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can even supplement some of that with the special weapons kits now.
I mean, we have to say we are definitely grateful. We're grateful for what we get for Heresy, because it's quite obvious that Specialist Games is not afforded the same resources that the main studio is. That is quite obvious. And in some ways, it's a very good thing. It means we don't constantly get FAQs and power creep and that kind of bollocks. It's left alone. Yeah. I think Heresy's had one, maybe two FAQs in its entire life. Of second edition. But the downside to that is that the releases just seem to be whatever they. I'm sure the guys who do the Heresy know what it needs, but I imagine that the bean counters are turning around going, no, you get one new sprue, one new kit you can make, choose one kind of thing. So the resources maybe aren't there.
Yeah, I think I think with a good example of that is the spoiler squads. So they rushed out a resin kit for melee weapons because they knew they saw how much people were demanding it, and it took them over 2 years to actually release a.
And the problem with this is
they obviously that's their turnaround on it.
Yes, I mean it takes a long time to do these things. We know this. Tooling for plastic is not a quick process in itself. Sorry about that. We left pretty much exactly when you started saying what you were hoping you would see and wouldn't see with the new edition, Karl. So
okay,
go nuts, dude. Yeah.
So I was saying the first thing I'd like is when FAQs come out, I want a scheduled FAQ.
Like a roadmap, basically.
But I mean, just say as an example, new edition releases in July or June.
Yep.
We know we're going to see our first FAQ is going to be September.
Yep.
And then they announce you will not see another FAQ until, I don't know, 6 months down the line on from that.
Gotcha.
Just because I don't want to go down the 40k route where it's just, change after change constantly. I'd like it to be a scheduled thing. Everyone knows when it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And those, if the game is play tested enough and done properly, we shouldn't see any radical changes.
Those are the big ifs, aren't they? That's the thing. If the game is play tested properly. As I say, I have no doubt that the specialist games division have the desire to do these things properly, but I imagine they also have a lot of pressures on them at all times.
I have a lot more faith that they're going to do a good job than what we would see with 40k or Sigma.
Oh God, yes, yeah, without a doubt, yeah. It's just a different thing, isn't it? I mean, as you said, like with Age of Sigma and 40k, it's like they're the main money makers and the things that they're going to keep fucking about with. Ad infinitum, and Horus Heresy is just kind of left to do its own thing, keep the adults entertained.
Although I do remember reading somewhere that they considered the Heresy to be their third big line of like stuff.
Oh, now, yeah, for sure. Because I mean, that's why it's fitting into the 3-year plan for addition changes. It's one of the core games, but I mean, I think that's too soon anyway. I think you could leave, provided, as Karl said, you had a scheduled FAQ to just tune the game as it needs tuning without changing anything too majorly. There's no reason why the Horus Heresy can't just go 5 years without an edition change.
That leads me on to my next point, was a 5-year release of editions.
Yeah.
So a gap of 5 years between editions.
Yeah.
I think Heresy's got a good pedigree so far, up until recently, of when the edition comes out, you've got that edition. That's what you're playing.
Yes, your rulebook will be more or less, useful for you throughout that edition. You won't have massive changes, sweeping changes that are made. As you say, it's all down to playtesting, isn't it? You release a proper product. You don't become EA and patch the game afterwards, but pay your audience to fucking beta test it for you. So make your audience pay to beta test it, which is what happened for 10th edition. And anybody who bought 10th edition beta tested the product for GW to fix later and patch. And we don't want to see that happen with the Heresy. So, I mean, I would love to see 5-year editions. I have no faith at all that it will happen because GW know that it is pretty much an automatic revenue generator.
Yeah, so on top of the 5-year edition, I would like to see your campaign book as a black book once a year.
Yep, that'd be cool.
I know some of this is probably completely out of the realms, but if I could have if I wanted, I would like a black book. Yeah,
well, that's what I put on a wish list, dude. So yeah, crack on.
Yeah, a black book once a year, and that's your campaign book.
Yeah.
On top of that, I would like to see if they are going to tweak the rules to the point where we all require new army books. I would like on release all army books to be available, and if they're not available, I would like a PDF so every army is at least playable.
Yep. I've said this for ages.
I don't want to wait another 2 years to be able to play my Black Shields.
Yep. No, I've said this for absolutely ages. I would like to see the codex system completely disappear. And I mean completely disappear. I would like on release, every single army is ready to go. And then through the edition, you do some campaign books, and you can introduce new units with those campaign books. That's what I would like to see happen. I hate the codex system. I hate the fact that Imperial Guard got a codex, and 4 months, maybe not even that, 3 months later, there's a brand new edition of the fucking game. And this year it's going to be Dark Eldar. The Dark Eldar codex is going to come out, and then why would you buy it? Why would you buy it? There's no point. Yeah, I'd like to see the codex system completely disappear. I don't think this is bad with the Horus Heresy because of the way they've done it. Because you get that great big book, and it's there's a lot less factions. It's not like they're doing one per legion, so you have really only got 5 factions. So each one gets a good lifespan. You haven't got the churn.
What makes it fairly frustrating is because recently I've been working on my Black Shields army.
Yeah.
And
Death Watch?
I can't believe that came up. If I want to play my Black Shields, I need to take the rulebook, Liber Astartes or Liber Hereticus, and I need to take the Beta Garmon book.
Yes.
So
and this is always
play one army.
Yeah, this has been another big problem with 40k for a long time, hasn't it?
So I'd like a PDF of my Black Shields on launch. You can release a dedicated book for them later on. That's completely fine.
Yep.
But on launch, I want to be able to pick up and play my army and not have to proxy it as World Eaters or whatever else.
Yeah. Well, oddly enough, with the Imperial Knights Codex, just going back to it real quickly, the 40k one, they did actually say that because there's no combat patrol, those extra pages that would have loads of combat patrol data. Yeah.
I mean,
you're like, guys, why don't you please release these things in a ring binder so I can just take out the pages that I need?
So, in order to play Horus Heresy 1, if you wanted to play a campaign with your army, you needed the rulebook for 40k, you needed the Black Book 1, just to list out your army list.
Yep.
You needed the campaign book that was relevant, and you needed the book that contained the special stuff for your army.
Yeah.
So you needed to lug around 4 to 5 books, 4 of which were black books.
Yeah.
Just to play.
those are some hefty tomes. That's a workout in itself, shifting all that paper around. Yeah, you're right, and it wasn't streamlined at all. But people, because I think maybe because adults played Horus Heresy, especially back then when the cost was so prohibitive, because 90% of the range was resin as opposed to plastic. I think that was something that they had to do. But I think this is still something that is a problem for GW in general, especially when they get round to doing their stupid end of edition campaign that they'll do for 40k, without a shadow of a doubt.
Those end campaigns are basically a signifier that the your edition is coming to an end.
Your edition's done.
Itself is kind of useless outside of telling a story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, be it Psychic Awakening or Gathering Storm or whatever. And as I say, I just like to see them completely gone. I'd like to see the codex system completely abolished. You get a book come out for your faction that's got like loads of hobby, loads of inspiration, loads of lore, bestiaries, all that kind of stuff. The stuff that we used to like. You get a codex now and you open it up and it's just data sheet after data sheet after data sheet after data sheet after data sheet. And it's just, if you buy the unit cards, they're exactly the same fucking thing. Yeah. It's like, well, why? Why have you got this exact same thing twice? That is then out of date 5 minutes after I've bought it anyway. Pointless, absolutely pointless. So I'm actually with you there, mate. I don't think it'll happen, but a complete, readdressing of the way that these games are released would be very nice. But at the same time, especially with things like the codes and stuff, GW know they're onto a money maker. So I mean, what I would do is I'd say I'd have like a tier of Warhammer Plus, where it's like, okay, this is like 15 quid, maybe even 20 quid a month, because but you get access to everything. Every single codex.
Yeah,
I do that.
I mean, the only problem I would have with that is I don't want to pay a large subscription to play, for.
Yeah, but I mean, when it comes to their
tangible copy of my things.
Yeah, the thing is, I like having books, but I don't like having books that are out of date straight away, Karl. That's the problem. That's why I want them to be lore and hobby books, because then, I've got my Imperial Armour Masterclass books. I can still get as much use out of those now as I could when I bought them 10 years ago.
Well, yeah.
Like even the black books, a good chunk of those is lore and story and stuff. So they've got some value, but new codexes have got no value at all. No value. I mean, for a start, a lot of it's copy and pasted.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of the codexes, they seem to retread the same paragraphs.
Yeah, the law's copy and pasted. There was a couple of editions where I actually literally read the same paragraphs in each book. It is literally copy and pasted. I mean, with the Tyranid one, the new model came out, the Norn Emissary, and there's not even a bloody story or something in it. It's mentioned once, isn't it, Matt?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. It's next to nothing. Like, I was doing 30k rules for my Tyranids, so I could actually use my models in an edition I enjoyed. And I was kind of like, well, I need to try and transpose like this emissary from crap edition to a decent one. I want to see what it can do in the lore to get an idea of how best to move the rules over and stuff. And there was like, it got one mention in the entire codex. Yeah. And I was like, oh, is there no bestiary pages for this?
Exactly. You used to get a full bestiary. I mean, I remember reading the second edition Tyranid Codex, and you got that story where the Lictor, the spook.
Oh, that's awesome.
Stalks the entire Catachan squad, Predator style.
I remember that, yeah.
And I was just like, yes, I want one of those. That's amazing. That is so cool. I can give a fuck about, the rules and everything. I was just like, it sounds awesome. Give it to me now. It's gone. It's gone now. The way they sell models now is, you can re-roll all your ones, and it gives your army, I don't know, feel no pain or whatever. That's how they sell stuff now. They don't inspire anybody. They just make the rules, and it's like it's like that Flash Gets video where they got the guy whipping Matt Ward. No, give it 10 attacks on the charge and instant death. It's just not whipping him. Sorry, it's a cattle prod. I keep forgetting it's cattle prod, but I mean, it's annoying.
Trying to sell you on these things, like tell you why it's cool. Tell me why I should buy one of these, not tell me what rules it has for the next 3 weeks.
Exactly that. When anybody walks into GW, back in the day when I was working there, and they asked about the armies, or even when we played a game, it was all about the narrative. It was all about the story. I would not even mention the rules when I was describing the different factions, because they don't give a fuck. They're getting into the game. What do they care what the rules are?
Yeah, I mean, the rules don't mean anything without context.
Exactly. So, my descriptions would always be based on the lore, because back then the lore was amazing. And then if they did ask some more questions, I'd be like, well, if you take the Orcs, you're going to have a crazy game every single time. Your dice could be good. They could, it's bonkers. They can do all sorts of weird stuff. But now, the only way you can really sell an army, I think, is just with those rules. And that's what they do every single time they do a new codex or whatever. It's, here's your rules. Here's some broken rules to make you want to buy this army, and I hate that. And I don't think I've seen as much of that with the Heresy, but I certainly still don't think it's been quite as narrative as I would like. But then they have a narrative arm that sells stories now, so at the same time I can kind of understand that they don't want to do it separately.
I do quite like the campaign books we've had for Heresy, but I don't think they match up to the quality of the black books.
No, not at all.
Not quite.
Yeah, no, they're not at all. They're good. I think they're a lot better than the 40k ones, and I mean a lot better than the 40k ones. But no, they're not the black books.
Beta Garment was a very good book.
Yeah, the black books read almost like historical accounts of what happened. They're amazingly well written.
Yeah.
And the new ones.
That's what sold me on them.
Yeah.
Alan Blythe, great work.
Oh, incredible work.
I think you did the Bad
Bad War.
Yeah,
oh,
Bad War. Yeah. I don't think I will say flat out that I don't think the Heresy has ever properly recovered from Alan Blythe's passing. It's never been the same since.
I don't think it will.
I don't think Games Workshop in general will.
I think that was just
that's a consequence.
Horus Heresy.
His death is affecting our game.
Yeah, well, I mean, a bit selfish, rest in peace and everything like that. But yeah, his passing is our loss, because the Horus Heresy really is effectively Warhammer 40,000 historical.
Yeah, I will say I met him on 2 occasions. Really nice guy.
Yeah, top bloke. I only met him once, an open day. But yeah, amazing chap. You could just, when you spoke to him again, it was just enthusiasm all the way through. And I don't even know if you can really meet people these days. I mean, even when we met Jez at the 8th edition Games Day or whatever, it wasn't Games Day, whatever they called Warhammer Fest, Matt, you could see the enthusiasm in Jez's face when he was talking about stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Primaris design and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And sort of like, a lot of that crowd have moved out to the specialist games division, I think, and I don't know what the main studios are like. I'm sure they're enthusiastic in their own way, but it's different. But yeah, what else you got, Karl? What else would you like to see?
If they are going to tweak and change it so that we need new books and stuff, I would like to see a new version of the Legacy Units PDF.
Okay, yeah. No unit gets left behind, kind of thing. Yeah.
I need my Castroferum Dreadnoughts, my Indomitus Terminators, and
and this is the concern, isn't it, with them adding new units all the time? It's like, now there's this new Saturnine Dreadnought, and it's just like,
I was thinking earlier about the we're going to see, if we do see a new version of Liber Hereticus and Liber Astartes, are we going to see the Inducti in there, or are they going to be in the unit? Because people have built units of Inducti. I have Inducti for my Night Lords. I've got several squads of them. When the new edition rolls around, are they just going back to being Despoiler Marines, or?
Yeah. Are they just going to get bumped off again? I mean, stuff always goes legacy, doesn't it? Always.
In your armies, so I don't know, flip over to the Night Lord section, where you've got like your Rights of War and your Legion's specific war gear. Am I going to have an Inducti paragraph to tell me about what my Inducti are and what they do?
Yes, which, as I say, that's the important thing, isn't it? You want that inspiration and that immersion into it. Those books provide.
They are actually a unit entry.
Yeah.
I want to be able to use them as they are, or if they're going to get dropped.
Because again, I remember with Mechanicum, a lot of stuff is still resin and therefore prohibitively expensive, or doesn't exist. Like Matt.
Sorry. Need some medicine.
Yes, yeah. And you got to think with them finally doing that in Legion Imperialis, it will be coming. I think they've done quite well with Heresy, to be honest. I do. For the things that they're lacking, I think they've knocked out quite a few factions, and I think they've done a bloody good job with all of them. And the fact that we're getting Liber Hereticus with the new version suggests to me that we're going to start seeing things like cults and Imperial Guard and Traitor Guard, Lost in the Dam, that kind of thing, maybe. Although obviously that is nothing more than a poster on the back of a monitor at the moment. But I think I would just like to see them embrace more legions than they have. It has felt like some of the legions in this edition just got passed over completely.
Yeah, Raven Guard. Yeah, Iron Hands finally. Iron Warriors finally got a Praetor. He has the stupidest hammer in the entire game. It's ridiculous.
Did the Night Lords get a model this edition?
Of course we didn't.
So that's how you're asking the right person.
Well, that's what I figured. And
didn't.
You have to chuck us some pictures of your stuff, Karl, so I can put it up on the video. Because at the moment,
no problems.
Actually recording a black screen, but I'm just going to put pictures over, so probably including some of them.
I got a character, but it wasn't for my Night Lords. I got my Endred Har model for my Black Shields.
Right, gotcha. Yeah. So
he's easily in my top 5 characters of the Heresy. I absolutely love Endred Har.
So there's not really any excuse for that, is there? To completely ignore a Legion for a whole edition.
I can't complain too much. Previous editions, Night Lords got a lot of love. We got a lot of really cool models.
Well, I know you got your Sevatar and stuff like that, but even so,
we got the Night Raptors units, and we got the Contakar Terminators. And,
3 years is a long time to go. 3 years is a long time. I think the Dark Eldar went longer, but 3 years is a long time to go without any love, especially when you keep seeing it all on these main 2 factions. And again, you've got why haven't we seen breacher shields? Why haven't we seen breaching units? Why hasn't there been? I thought when they did the the version of 40k they did, it was boarding actions. That was it. I was like, that would have been the perfect time to release 30k breachers at the same time and say, look, you could use this for your games of Heresy.
I'm surprised they didn't release some sort of Primaris with a shield that has 4 guns on it and a rocket.
A grenade launcher on top.
Just on wheels, you're just pushing it forward. That just struck me. That struck me as much of a miss as them missing Space Hulk's anniversary, 35th anniversary. I was like, what?
So with the heresy stuff to come, I'd like to see a refinement to the existing rules rather than a rewrite.
Oh yeah,
I think we've got an absolutely solid rule set. I like some of the changes they put in this edition. I think they went overboard with reactions.
Yes, I said this when it first came out. I said, reaction seems like a cool thing, but GW can never leave a cool thing alone. And they just keep pushing it, and then it was like stratagems or command points. Command points were a great idea, and then they fucked it.
Technically, we always had reactions. They just weren't cool. I mean, we had Overwatch. That was always a reaction.
Yeah. I mean, we've always had Overwatch, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, it was just.
I like that they limited it, but they didn't limit it enough. I want to see, reactions need to be something that are spent wisely and rarely.
Yes, yeah. You should literally see like 3 or 4 over the course of a game, not 2 or 3 every turn. Because one thing it does is slow down the game, and the other thing it does is it provides all these little gotcha moments and stuff. And I'm just like, I would do it the same with stratagems.
It's the gotcha moments.
With stratagems in 40k. No, having extra. I mean, with 40k, what I would do with stratagems, I would have like literally 6 stratagems and then 1 for an army, and that'd be it. That'd be it. There's your stratagems. You don't get to.
I mean, I don't like things like special characters. Allow you to alter when you do your reaction or give you an extra reaction.
Extra reactions, yeah.
To do another.
As I said,
it's just that they're playing with their new mechanics to the point where it overtakes the flow of the game.
Yeah, and it's exactly what's happened with every other mechanic that GW have done, like command points, stratagems. They start off as an idea and it's like, oh, this is cool, and they're like, oh wow, this is great, people love this. Let's give them more. And I remember when they did like it was like a little comic thing. I think it was for 8th. Like, we heard you like command points, and now we're giving you like double command points. And then every turn, people were just like, yep, same stratagem. And it's just like, it's fucking useless and pointless. And it's just, GW do it every single time. So, I'm there with you on reactions, because I think they are a cool idea, and lots of other games do them and do them really well. Infinity's had a reaction system forever that really works excellently.
Yeah, just good things in moderation, I think, with that.
Yeah, tone it down a little bit.
I'd like some sort of a rules change. I'd like to see is maybe some kind of negative to using anti-tank weapons on infantry. So at the moment, one of the metas is taking things like 10-man las cannon squads, and you can just annihilate units.
Yes, that's because is that because of the instant death rule though?
Well, it's that they're a strength 9 AP2 weapon. They just remove Marines. What I'd like to see is maybe something along the lines of your minus ballistic skill if you're hitting an infantry unit, because it's something you have to line the shot up for, and infantry move
quite fast. Yeah, I get that. You could just chuck a special rule in there for that, couldn't you? Fix it without too many problems.
Yeah, just not necessarily minus ballistic skill, but have it so that there is a drawback to doing it, which means you take anti-tank for anti-tank.
Yeah.
Because the other side of it is if you take Volkite Culverins or Heavy Bolters or something, they should be good at mowing down infantry and shit at dealing with tanks, which is how they are. But it doesn't seem to work the other way around.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Legions Imperialis gets around this by using a bunch of little rules. Like most small arms have like the light special rule, which means they can't damage vehicles full stop.
Yeah.
You get the anti-tank special rule, which means that you can hit vehicles and use full AP, but if you hit infantry, there's no AP modifier, so they still get their full armor save.
Represent them being agile and are able to outclass the weapon and outmove it and things like that.
Yeah, so specialist games clearly recognised it as an issue, and they've built a rule into LI to stop that from happening. So I expect there may be something similar in the new version of Heresy. I'm not sure yet.
I'd like to see it because I think it would address the whole people taking 10-man las cannon squads and
I mean, has the Horus Heresy, have the specialist games guys done a what you would like to see thing? I've not seen anything like that where they've taken community feedback. There's no tournament, because the thing is GW balance everything based off of tournaments, which is crap.
One thing I will say for this Horus Heresy website is it's highlighted the fact they are actually aware of things that go on. They are aware of like social media comments and discussions.
Yeah, it's a bit of a troll, I feel.
Yeah, no, but what I mean is they're aware that things get talked about, so it's not just taking things from a tournament. They are aware that things like this get discussed.
Yeah, I think they're aware that these things get discussed. I just don't think they care. I think that's the problem. I think with 40k, for example, people have been screaming out for ages, "This is fucked. This is fucked. This is fucked." But the only thing you ever see is that stupid meta watch where everything's based off of the tournaments, and they're like, "Oh well, these guys aren't winning enough, and these guys are winning too much." And it's like, yeah, but you don't know who they're playing. You know, you don't know what the matchups are. You're just literally going, right, everybody should be winning between, 40 and 50%. 40 and 60%, I think it is. You know, we want to try and get that. And it's like, well, if everybody's just taking the same bloody army, it's not going to make any difference. Do you actually listen to the community and what their concerns are? Because if you did, I can't believe it would take that long to fix the fucking Eldar.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of two things. One is like context is important. And two, they need to take a leaf out of like Richard's book, and it's like in an investigation, details matter.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like 40k basically like if the tournament players are happy, we don't care. That's it. As long as the tournament players are happy and all the armies are winning roughly the same amount, it's fine. It doesn't matter what you get up to at home. It doesn't matter if you have fun. It doesn't matter if your games are narrative and fun and full of like random occurrences that you'll remember for the next 20 years. As long as our tournament players are happy, that's it. It's fine. And that's all I ever see. And it's all they ever do when they talk about balancing the game is this meta watch bollocks. They never turn around and say like, oh, you know, we had some people inquiring on this so that, you know, we've had a look at this and we've had these people make these concerns. We're going to look into this. Like even the old chapter approved system did better than this. Do you remember chapter approved? When they'd released chapter approved and they'd have these rules and they'd be like, right, these are now trial rules. And if they work, they'll become permanent rules.
Yeah.
Now what they do is they do a load of FAQ changes. And then the next FAQ, they just roll them all back and they go, oh no, it was too much.
No.
It's like, what the fuck are you actually doing, GW? And that's literally what happened on this FAQ. The most recent balance data sheet, whatever they call it. They literally turned around and said, oh, you know, the nerf we put on this army last time was obviously too much, or the buff we put on was too much, so we're completely rolling it back. Ignore it. It's gone. I was like, what? How?
Yeah.
How can you be this shit at it? So, I desperately hope that doesn't happen to the Heresy, because I fucking suck.
Well, I mean, if they've addressed things like the weapons, the heavy weapon stuff in Legions Imperialis, it gives me hope that they, you know, they'll look at that. I mean, the other side of that is, I think one of the big downsides to this edition, which is really weird, is vehicles are not very good in this version of Heresy. And in this version of Heresy, we've had tons of plastic vehicles.
They are not survivable at all.
No, they get absolutely destroyed. And like pretty much the first 6 months was nothing but them releasing tanks. Awful.
You literally have to use them lurking at the back as fire support.
Yeah.
Bring back armored ceramite. Armored ceramite and flare shields. That's what I want on my tanks.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Give me a reason for my tank to, you know, the whole purpose of having a Rhino is to belt it up the board.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to get destroyed before it's literally just trundled off the starting line. It's destroyed, and the guys have got a foot slug across. Yeah, it's pointless. Yeah.
I get they're cheap and cheerful, but I don't want some guy with a heavy bolter just spotting it and taking a pop shot and wrecking it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the problem between sort of the old, because they've got a whole point system, haven't you, in the new one, in Heresy now. I'm saying, which is largely based off of the 7th edition. Yeah,
pretty much.
And although it's not obviously 2nd edition, which we were talking about last week or the week before, I'll put the video up today. It's still, that vehicle rule set has still got its problems. It's a lot more fun than just having wounds and shit, but that, you know, as you can say, you can quite, you know, they're just not survivable with that rule set at all, especially with the kind of game that has the amount of firepower that Horus Heresy has.
in a game that encourages max size units, it's not really helpful for vehicles to survive.
No, it's not. There's definitely a balance problem there, and I would like to see that addressed, so that make tanks great again, I guess. But it's a fine act, because what I don't want them to do is turn around and just go, right, okay, all tanks are like 40k now, and this tank's got 24 wounds. Because I'm like, well, you've just made it fuck off this shit now. I don't want that. And in general, I'm sure you've got the same thing, but I don't want Heresy to become any more like 40k at all.
Nope.
At all. No, I'd like to see 40k become more like Heresy.
my major complaints with Heresy at the moment are actually minor tweaks I'd like to see done. I think that they are things that are fixable, but it will require a new addition. I think vehicles need to look at. Flyers, it's a bit of a Pandora's box, really, because flyers have been introduced. They're in the game. You can't bin them off.
No, which is what I would do for 40k.
So
I would get rid of flyers, and I'd probably do the same for Heresy. But there's some really cool flyers, and although you can represent it as a special rule, because you could represent a strafing run, you could represent a strafing run or a bombing run or whatever as a special rule, as a stratagem or whatever. But then GW don't get to sell their big expensive flying model, which admittedly looks fucking awesome for you to use. So I get the quandary there, but they're another one of those things that just, I think, breaks games sometimes.
That's what I mean about it being a Pandora's box. Unfortunately, they are a thing that are in the game. They are a thing you're going to have to deal with. You can't bin it off because people have bought Stormbirds and Thunderhawks and all sorts.
Yeah.
So that they're in the game. Find a way to make them work.
Yes.
Find a way to make them work and put them in, I don't really know what the solution is there, but I'm not a game designer. All I'm saying is please take a look at it.
Yeah, flyers have been a problem for a long time.
I mean, I absolutely love some of the flyers in Heresy are some of my favourites in the whole.
Mate, I think the Storm Eagle is right up there for me. The Storm Eagle,
it's the Xiphon for me. I absolutely love the Xiphon. It looks like a Viper from Battlestar Galactica.
It does look a bit like a Viper from Battlestar Galactica. The problem I have with the Xiphon is it just looks too small for a Space Marine to fit in it. It just looks like he'd have his knees up to his chest trying to fly this fucking plane.
I have a Xiphon, and he sits in there more comfortably than the Landspeeder guys do.
More happily as well, I bet.
Yeah. Not having his ears ringing from having the fire missile launchers and the bolters fire around his head.
Speaking of which, have a look at Landspeeders, please.
Yes.
Do something with light vehicles to make them worthwhile.
Another model that I really thought we would have had in plastic by now.
Proteus Landspeeder.
Yeah.
Or the Javelin.
We got the bikes.
Oh, Javelin. That'd be nice.
You would have thought.
I've got 3 Javelins, all of the Forge World resin ones. And, I'm almost terrified to take them out because they've got antennas and stuff on them.
Yeah, nightmare.
But I know won't make it to the gaming table.
But again, it's like you want to play like you want to play White Scars. Okay, you've got jet bikes and stuff, but you probably want land speeders as well. And at the moment, if you can still get them from Forge World, they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, I'd like to see plastic actual bikes as well, because we do have normal bikes in Heresy.
Yeah, Outriders.
Yeah, Outriders. There's actually a Night Lord's Rite of War that allows you to take 5 HQs as a biker gang. It's literally 5 Centurions on bikes, and they go around as a biker gang.
Just terrorising people. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of flavour that they could put into the game via the different legions that I don't know is there at the moment. I know each legion's got its own special rule, and obviously its Primarch's got its own reaction. Yeah, so each legion's got its own reaction and stuff like that. But I do feel like there could be more. Most of the times that I've seen the Horus Heresy played, there doesn't seem to be a great deal of difference between the two, because obviously it's Space Marines versus Space Marines 9 times out of 10. And there doesn't seem to be a great deal differentiating between them.
Yes and no. I mean, you will 100% notice the difference between someone playing Dark Angels and someone playing World Eaters.
Different colour models.
Yeah, different colour models and how they operate on the table.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's extremes though, isn't it? I mean, if you take something that's got quite a lot less identity to it and put that up against something that's similar.
The trouble is if you start having something like Blood Angels versus World Eaters, it's melee versus melee, and they're both like white dangerous in melee.
Yeah, and as you said, there's quite a lot of legions that can't really operate in the extreme way that they should. You know, Raven Guard should feel like fighting shadows. I'm 90% sure it doesn't. You know, when you play the game, you know, and just not having breaches and destroyers and stuff like that. You know, do Death Guard feel like you're fighting this? And you know, the legions changed over the course of the heresy, and that's the other thing that I would like to see. I think is I'd like to see some of the end heresy type models, which seems quite unlikely because this next box set is a Mark II. What are your guys' thoughts on that, especially seeing as we haven't had Mark V yet?
Mark V is my favourite power armor. It makes me very cranky that I haven't got it yet.
I'm actually... I really love Mark V. Mark II's okay, but it's basically stripped down Mark III. I would like to see, weirdly enough, I know a lot of people don't really care about this, but I think the signature power armor for the Heresy is actually Mark IV. It's Maximus armor. It's always been Maximus armor. And I'd like to see an updated version of that.
Yeah, rescaled. Yeah.
Because Maximus armor was basically the general armor that every legion was using.
Well, this was the problem when they did the Corvus armor Mark VI, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's always been there."
That was a straight up retcon.
And it's just like, no, it fucking wasn't.
Much later. It was prototypes, and that was the armor that got evacuated from Mars.
Yeah, exactly.
When the schism happened.
Yeah, and yeah, we all know why they've done it, but it's still a retcon.
If you go back in time lore-wise, the defenders at the Siege of Terror should have been wearing predominantly Mark VI and prototype Mark VII.
Yep.
You won't see Mark VII in the Heresy, but the whole reason it became associated with the Loyalists is because it had they bore the Aquila to show they were the defenders. They were the
defenders, yeah, exactly. Yeah, to mark them out. I mean, let's face it, there's been a lot of retcons with the Horus Heresy anyway. Some good, like what they did with the Ultramarines. They did a lot of good work with the Ultramarines and the Horus Heresy, because originally they were just
actually likable to the general.
Yeah, exactly. Well, originally it was just like the Ultramarines just weren't there because they were on the other side of the galaxy. That was it. That was all there was to it. And then they introduced all of the new stuff. You know, like the Betrayal at Calf and all that kind of stuff.
Have you read the Siege of Terror series?
I've not read Siege of Terror. I don't want to. I don't want to read Siege of Terror. I'm so fucked off with the retcon in the end and the death that I actually almost don't want to read anything else by Dan Abnett.
Okay. Well, the cool bit about it is the defenders are, for at least the first few books, the defenders are holding out because they know that they're basically getting overrun, and they know all they've got to do is keep holding, and the whole time it's the threat that the Ultramarines are coming.
Yeah.
If they can hold out long enough, the Ultramarines, and occasionally they'll mention the Dark Angels.
And the Space Wolves, wasn't it, as well?
No, the Space Wolves are essentially out of action by this point.
Okay.
It's that they know that the Ultramarines are belting towards like Terror, and they've Horus.
Yeah, the legions were. That's one of the reasons why the gambit at the end happens, isn't it? Because they're like, look, if we don't do this now and teleport, then the Ultramarines are going to get here and we are going to get fucked up.
Yeah, so they know Rogel Dawn is basically everything is a holding strategy.
He's buying time.
Hold them at bay long enough.
Yeah.
And it makes the Ultramarines feel like a viable threat. Like they're not just the poster boys for 40k. They are actually a serious thing in the Heresy.
Yeah, and they're fucked off because of what's... Because the thing is, they were the biggest legion before, and they're still pretty damn big. You know, they're a very sizable force, regardless of what we've done with them. And we would see the Ultramarines come in a lot more if they get to the scouring.
Yeah,
because the Ultramarines were responsible for a hell of a lot of the cleanup and booting Chaos back to the Eye of Terror.
Yeah, or the general retreat.
It's about time they did some of the work, apart from holding up in their fancy little, not heretical upstart empire.
Gilliman's like, the Emperor's probably dead. Right?
To be fair, Matt, I don't think you could be talking about words like heresy with
Dark Angels.
Well, you know, the Thromaz Crusade was a bit of a speed bump, but, you know, he sorted some stuff out.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Caliban broke before that.
What was that? Sorry,
I said Caliban broke before the Dark Ages Heresy did.
It's true. It's true. We broke it ourselves, damn it, on purpose.
But they have. Speaking of retcons, that is a retcon that's actually happened, though, isn't it? It wasn't just the Dark Angels. Literally every legion had traitors.
Yes.
Every legion had loyalists.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that there was 30,000 Dark Angels that were quite naughty.
Quite naughty. Yes.
Stubborn.
One of the books actually states that Astalan builds an army of 30,000 Dark Angels that are not loyal to the Lion.
Yeah. I mean, and that's some of the fascinating thing, and that's what I'd really like to actually see more of in 40k, is that kind of not chaos being Saturday villains. I want to see renegade Space Marines.
Yeah, bring the Red Corsairs back.
Exactly.
I was about to say, Karl, isn't that your department?
You know, I want to see renegade Space Marines, you know, the kind of guys who are out for themselves, the kind of thing where you've got, like, I don't know, 50 odd Space Marines and they're like, we need supplies, and they just go down to a planet and just fucking wreck the shit out of it just because they need shit to carry on doing what they're doing.
So,
you know?
Speaking about Night Lords.
But it's really missing in 40k, because again 40k has just got so many factions now that, I mean, well, the Tyranids were meant to be the big threat in this one. I don't think they've fucking done anything.
No.
Silent King was supposed to be the threat in the last one. He's not fucking done anything. Nobody's doing anything. We're still fucking about in an Ackman gauntlet.
Yeah, but there's more Primaris Marines to be launched.
Oh god, yeah. And apparently there's more coming. Apparently there's more coming this year. Yay. Valak was like, what would you like to see from the Space Marines? I was like, nothing. Absolutely.
More lieutenants, please.
Nothing.
They even get their. I can't believe for an army that straps guns to everything, their drop pods actually lost them.
Yeah. Bonkers.
They took the guns off. Stupid.
They're probably gluing them to the squad that goes in it.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we like the fact that the Heresy is not 40k. You know, because I mean, obviously there are lots of different squad types, but it's not quite to the level in 40k where it's like. And I swear, one of the worst things that happened for Games Workshop in general was the dual build kit, because they felt compelled to invent 2 squads every time they released something.
Yeah, Tyranids looked like a word.
not just one, you know. And it's just like, oh, fuck's sake, please stop. Because now, like, I don't know, there's like 60 Tyranid units or something stupid like that. It wouldn't surprise me. With all the psychic bollocks and the neuro bollocks that they invented this time around, I'm just like, please stop it. Please stop.
As much as I love a Maleceptor, I'm not too sure I needed a tickle beast to go with it.
Yeah,
a little bit sucked that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Something much. I've listened to too much fucking Lovecraft when it came to that thing. I tell you, mate. Same as the Mutilix Vortex Beast.
It looks cool though. It's so left field
it's such a weird
for a Marine Legion. It's like, wait, what? You got a pay?
Yeah. Basically, got a fucking Dunwich horror walking around. Yeah, but I mean, I'd like to see some more of that with the Heresy. I mean, like things like the Gal Vorback, where you get the really fucked up kind of twisted armor, and you can see what's happened to them.
I love those models.
Oh, they're so good.
Man, their Dreadnought still gives me a fucking heebies.
Yeah, they're so good. Neil got me to print off like 40 of them or something stupid like that for him, and
in pink.
Yeah, you know, he's a mate and all. I think I'd like to see more of that, but obviously it is still resources, and let's face it, this time round we are going to see new factions. We're going to see the Custodes, obviously, or the Angels of the Emperor. We're going to call them Talons of the Emperor.
Talons of the Emperor, yeah.
And I presume we're going to see this Liber Hereticus. But
I'd like to see some love given to the Demons of the Ruinstorm, to be honest.
Oh god, yeah. Yes. I mean, they got a PDF and it took forever. But this is what I'm thinking. I'm wondering if the Demons of the Ruinstorm might get rolled into Liber Hereticus. So you've literally got the Lost and the Damned.
I'm not sure if they will, simply because it would be basically giving the traitor armies an extra army for free, and that's not Games Workshop style.
It would add, you still got both. It would add a dynamic to the game that I think would be quite cool. Because obviously at the moment the demons are like they're strong to start off with, and they get weaker as the game goes on, don't they?
Yeah.
And obviously that's.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if we're going to see Dark Mechanicum this time around.
I'd love to see Dark Mechanicum. I would love to see Dark Mechanicum, and I think that we'll probably see it for 40k as well, which would be another faction.
I think it's going to be like Cthulhu meets the Matrix.
I'd like to think so. Think so. But then every time I think about how fucked up the Mechanicum should look, the Dark Mechanicum should look, I look at what they've done to the Mechanicus, Adeptus Mechanicus, and I'm like,
enjoy your sniper on stilts.
yeah, exactly. Enjoy your gormless fucking dudes with wings. Because, I mean, you know, as you say, the Dark Mechanicum should look like hell. They should look like, you know, like literal hell meets Hellraiser, not Hellraiser, sorry, Event Horizon.
Hellraiser 3 fits quite well.
Yeah, true. Event Horizon meets the Matrix, you know.
Like the gravity drive from Event Horizon, you know, where it's like needlessly covered in like black iron spikes. And
yeah, exactly.
That's what I imagine the Dark Mechanicum to be. Given priests that have had their eyes ripped out and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of body horror type thing that GW just shies away from now, unfortunately.
That's how you bring in demon engines.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. I'd want to see Death of Hope brought to life in plastic. That's what I'd want to see. We won't get it because it's GW, but yeah, that's what I'd like to see, because that show was amazing before it got shit canned by GW.
I know the guy shit canned it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook. I talked to him a fair bit at one point.
And it wasn't GW?
No, they actually contacted him.
Okay.
Asking if he wanted to collaborate with them when Warhammer Plus was kicking off around the time as Startease was. He told me about it, and he said he just doesn't want to reply because he doesn't want to work for him.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And he cancelled the whole thing rather than getting a cease and desist.
Because I loved Death of Hope, and when they do finally get around to doing the Horus Heresy animation, which I'm sure they will.
I think it's a real shame Games Workshop is the way it is, because it put off someone like him from doing something incredible.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And in some ways GW are own worst enemy, but then they make so much money that they just don't fucking care.
No.
Because let's face it, the people at the top don't give a fuck about the hobby. They've never played it.
No.
They've never read it. They don't care. They just want that money to keep coming in and keep the shareholders happy. You know, and the primary shareholders are people like Bailey Gifford and BlackRock. So they just keep doing what they're doing, keep the money coming in. It's all good.
I think that must kind of suck, because like all the middle and maybe a tiny smattering of upper management there who are basically running the creative side of things must get so frustrated.
Oh, for sure, and that's why everybody buggered off to Specialist Games, because you know when they were in the main studio, they were just constantly being told no, it's got to make money. I worked for GW twice, and the second time I worked for GW, there was the 3 pillars of the game, and those 3 pillars were supporting one thing, and that one thing was make money. It wasn't expand the hobby, it wasn't get people into it or anything like that. It was just make money. Sad, but you know, it is what it is, and hopefully the Horus Heresy doesn't get fucked over by the bean counters. Are like, oh, this would be more popular if we made it simplified, not simple.
Speaking of which, if I move on to my don't wants for the Heresy,
please do.
That's a good segue, actually.
I planned it.
I've actually put an asterisk on this one. I don't want to see any Primaris shit make its way into the Heresy.
Oh, please no.
What I mean by that is lore-wise, they've established that the Primaris thing starts being designed and conceptualized around about the end of the Heresy.
Yep.
Which means they have an opportunity at some stage to insert some sort of proto-Primaris, cool, super special force that have come out thing, and I really don't want it. I know at some point they're going to try it, and I really don't want it. No,
don't want it. Don't want it at all. Don't want it at all. The Horus Heresy has a very singular aesthetic that really appeals to me, where 40k doesn't these days.
I don't want that messed with. I can't stand the Primaris line. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. I don't like the design choices, and I don't want to see it infiltrate the last sort of bastion of what was 40k.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I would not want to see Primaris at all. I'd hope they'd be smart enough to not do it, but
I also don't want to see constant poster boy releases. And what I mean by that is I don't want there to be another 10 Imperial Fist characters, or Sons of Horus get 13 new models and then suddenly get a bunch of upgrades for only them. And the
same with the Salamanders and the Iron Warriors this time around. Like, okay, give them 6 months. Give them 6 months.
I want to get to the point where every army has, I don't know, at least a Praetor, a Dreadnought, a special character.
Yep. Again, for that flavour, and they did do. Yeah. They did some new resin carapaces, torsos for the dreadnoughts, but that's not enough. It's crap.
They weren't even that. They were they were selling you half of an older dreadnought kit.
Yeah, not even. Well, I think half's probably being generous.
The torso.
You look at the old the old Leash specific Contemptors, and there was no standard bits on them. Like even the arms and legs design, was
the whole
different.
model.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the whole thing.
So a good one for that is if you look at the Iron Hands one, the power plant on the back is completely different, and it's actually built into the body.
Mm.
It's not a separate piece like the rest of the Contemptors.
And it's all these little touches that add character.
Yeah. So the Death Guard one has a helmet and arms that are reminiscent of the of iron armor.
Yeah. And as I say, the thing is, it takes so long for them to bring these things out that 3D printers are getting there first. Like I said, there's a guy that has basically done an entire Raven Guard army. The STLs are out there. They're free. An entire Raven Guard army. All the stuff that GW just haven't got round to, he's done all of it himself. It's obviously taking years or whatever, but
the flip side of that is I want to see I don't want to see needless units added while we're still waiting on stuff.
Nope.
No. So
like the Saturnine Dreadnought.
I know it was quite a popular one, but I don't really care about a Kratos Dreadnought when I don't have my infantry options.
Yeah, I mean, they brought out the Kratos battle tank, didn't they?
It's a nice tank. Yeah. I do like it, but I don't need it.
Nope.
I need my basic infantry. Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing that's just because they weren't ready to do the super heavies, and they were like, we need a big tank that we can. But I mean, it was always a problem with 40k, wasn't it? It was like, oh, Centurions, they've been there all along. I'm pretty sure I would have fucking noticed. Which is why they rebooted everything and did the Primaris, so now they can just add stuff in ad infinitum. They were, I mean, they were scraping the bottom of the barrel at that stage.
Someone saw the Hulkbuster suit in Marvel and got inspired. That's what that was.
I still think it was Flash Gets again, and it's the same video, but they go, what if we put a Space Marine inside of a Space Marine? And then literally 4 weeks later, they released the fucking Centurions. I was like, no way.
Outcome Teletubbies.
As awful as they are, still not as bad as the Grey Knight's baby carrier.
No, we've talked about that, and they didn't even fix that. They just brought out a fucking an upgrade sprue for it. It doesn't really fix anything about it at all. You've still got these diddly little Grey Knight Terminators that are like the size of Primaris Marines. It's like, oh, God.
The single easiest fix they could have made to that kit is remove the Marine off the front and put a Dreadnought sarcophagus on it.
There's loads of conversion kits on eBay, Etsy for it. Loads of them.
Yeah.
And it looks great. It looks awesome.
I don't know. It's baffling choices. I don't want to see any proto Grey Knights either.
No. Nathaniel Garrow shouldn't have done his thing at this stage, so that should be later. There's no need for it. I don't want to see any. I don't see any more crossover between 40k and Horus Heresy at all at this point. I am quite happy to just leave 40k behind at this point and be like, these are the models that I like, and I'll paint them. But that's it. Just leave 40k behind.
More special characters, but so long as everyone gets like a fair shake at it.
I'd like to see some Primarchs for Legions Imperialis. Actually, I'm wondering where the fuck they are. I'm amazed that they haven't done it yet.
My Legion has basically Night Lords have, I think, at least 3 or 4 special characters now, not including the Primarch.
Yep.
One of them has a model.
Yeah. Well, they did the whole thing of deleting entries, didn't they? Because they didn't have the models. They were like, gone.
Yeah. So one of them was my. I basically had a chief apothecary who was a sadistic torturer and a psychopath, and he got moved to Legends.
Still usable for most games, just not the.
Yeah. But he never had a model.
Yeah, he won't get a model. He won't get the support. You're right. Yeah, I mean, somebody's probably done it in 3D, like an STA or something. But
there's another character called the Painting Count, and I won't see him. And we've also got a Raven Guard captain who defects to the Night Lords.
Yeah, again, it's like the Dark Eldar. The Dark Eldar had.
That's still a Rushel. We won't see him either.
4th edition Dark Eldar Codex, to my memory, had 7 special characters, and now they've got 2. They'll have Hesperax and Jacurian Wrath, whatever his name is.
What Heresy special characters would you like to see as a model that doesn't currently have one? I mean, the only one I can think of that I would really love would be Nasir Ahmet, the Flesh Terror, for the Blood Angels. I really would like to see a model for him.
Oh, he ended up being a chapter master, didn't he?
There's quite a few models that I'd like
Terrors.
to see. There's quite a few models that I'd like to see redone. There's quite a few of the old, because let's face it, the Heresy resin line has been going for a long time now, and some of the Primarchs look pretty fucking rough, and some of these special characters, some of the special characters look pretty rough.
Definitely need a new model.
Yeah. I'd like to see Sharakin get a new model. I think the Ultramarine character, who's the first one who did the censored stuff? Venatus?
Oh, Aenid Theo.
I feel, yeah, he needs a new model. There's just a few of them. I think the Sigismund model wasn't great either. I don't like the pose on it. I'd like to see all these redone, but it's all time and...
I think the Imperial Fist can sit out having a new model for a while. I think they've got enough special characters that they could take a break. Same with the Sons of Horus.
There's 18 legions at the end of the day.
Of Abaddon.
There's 18 legions at the end of the day, and some of them just don't get a look in. But the thing is, where a lot of stuff got rescaled, a lot of those old special characters look giddy now.
Yeah, Abaddon being the classic example of that. He's tiny compared to...
he's got form for that, to be fair. His second edition model endured right up until...
Once again, precedence,
It's limited resources, isn't it? Obviously, they can't... I'm sure they'd love to do plastic models for all of them and charge that, but they do resin instead.
I always love that the Horus Heresy model for Abaddon stands next to the plastic one they did for, like, 9th edition, was it 8th edition?
Yes, yeah.
It's like, man, that guy's had 10,000 years in the gym.
Yeah, yeah, properly bolts up. But I'd like to see... I don't like the Guilliman Primarch model. I 3D printed my own, because he just looks like a statue. He just literally looks like a statue.
He's infinitely better than the 40k one.
Yeah, that's true. He's better than Granny Guilliman. I don't think the Corvus Corax Primarch model is good at all. I'd really like to see that one redone.
I'd like to see Lorgar redone.
Yeah, Lorgar. I don't know. I don't think Lorgar's that bad. He probably looks very small now.
The face makes it look like it's Lorgar on meth.
Yeah. He's really thin, isn't he? Yeah.
Methgar.
Methgar.
But I mean, some of them aren't too bad. I think the Comrade Kurz Primarch mod is really nice.
Which one?
The Comrade Kurz. I think he's really nice as it goes.
Yeah, he's a cool model. He's doing his Batman pose.
Yeah.
I like Comrade. Very cool model. Angron, I would like to see they've done the demonic one now, haven't they?
Yeah, they've done the demonic. There's no need. Yeah. I think Putarabo is one that I'd like to see redone. I don't think he's great.
I actually quite like Putarabo. He's standing on top of a down knight, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. It's like 50% base, 50% figure.
It's like a Cerastus, like torso and shoulder.
When you look at him in the context of what he's supposed to come with the Iron Circle, isn't he? The big robots.
Yeah.
If he's not standing on something really tall, he looks kind of silly with them.
Yeah. But that's all of the Primarchs are a bit like that anyway, aren't they?
I really like Sanguinius.
I think the Sanguinius model's very nice, yeah.
The Lion is fantastic.
Yeah, Lion's great. I think Lehman Russ is fine, apart from his face.
Yeah, I really like the pose he's in.
Yeah, the pose is great. But somebody showed me his face superimposed to a picture of Paul Whitehouse as Nicey from Smashing and Nicey. And I can never look at it the same way again now, because it looks exactly the same. It's got the same expression and everything.
Did you guys ever see the unreleased version of Fulgrim?
Yes, yeah.
Where he's holding the
staff
banner.
Yeah.
I was hugely big fan of that. I loved that. And then they ended up putting the banner on his base, didn't they?
That was Simon, what's his name, wasn't it?
Simon Egan.
Yeah, Simon Egan, yeah.
Most Primarchs.
Horus, the first version of Horus, he looked really, really nice, but as the scale crept up and how crisp details have got, I think Horus Ascended just absolutely blows him out of the water.
Oh yeah, it does, and this is why I think I'd like to see the Primarchs get redone more than anything else. Is just because they could look absolutely amazing now. I look at the Fulgrim model for Horus Heresy that first got released in the duel with Ferrus Manus.
Yeah,
I look at Fulgrim Transfigured. That's just insane. Do you know what I mean? So they could be so much more. The scale has crept up since then. They do look a bit silly, but overall, I mean, we're going to get more. Hey man, I'm still holding out hope for Space Hulk for Black Friday.
I don't think they've got the balls to put anything other than a D6 in that game.
What, in the Horus Heresy?
For Heresy, I don't think they've got the balls to do it.
No, and I don't think they need to be honest.
Because they view Heresy as one of their more mainline games, even though it's a specialist game. It's one of their more mainline games.
I don't think you need funky-sided dice. I think they give you a lot more granularity, and I think in a game like Horus Heresy that could work. But I don't think, as you say, I don't think the rule set for Horus Heresy is bad, because it's based upon what was the last decent version of 40k, 7th. The only thing that fucked up 7th edition 40k was the formations.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the only thing that fucks it up. Other than that, it was a pretty solid rule set. And as you say, I'd like to just see a little bit of tuning, a little bit of tightening, and maybe a bit of reining in of the reactions and fix the vehicles. And I think we're pretty much there. I like a lot of what they did with the Horus Heresy. A lot of it.
I genuinely think that the formations was an attempt to put Rights of War into 40k.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was basically a way to just sell a box. Yeah, I think it was a way they could basically.
It's a simple way of putting Rights of War in and cashing in on it. Yeah. Because a Right of War means you build an army around a specific idea.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like here's a special box of assault marines with a special rule that allows you to fill them in this formation and makes them stupidly broken, and you'll win. And then everybody buys the box.
I mean, I remember the first time I saw the Rights of War, and I was like, "March of the Ancients," you say?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is,
for you.
they can be used to inject flavour, which is what we all want. We all want flavour in our games, but GW just use them to break the game and sell models.
Yeah, still underestimate that in Horus Heresy version 1, the cheapest way of playing the game, like financially, was actually to play Pride of the Legion, because it was cheaper to play a Terminator army than it was to buy all the resin marines.
Buy all the resin marines, yeah, I can get that. Yeah, absolutely. And I still, as I say, I could have lived without Saturnine Terminators.
Yeah.
I could have lived. I mean, I think that the original version looks silly. I'd be interested if they can make them look not silly.
I would have much rather they spent that time and effort upscaling the Tartarus and the Cataphracts.
Upscale the originals. Yeah, I'd be fine with that. And that's one of the ways that the 3D printing will always win over these plastic models. And I will be doing a new 3D printing video at some point soon. But you can just scale them up. Boom. 10% bigger.
Yeah, I mean,
20% bigger. Boom, done. Boom, solved.
If they're releasing a Saturnine Dreadnought, there is absolutely no way I won't buy one. I mean, I will 100% buy a new Dreadnought immediately. But do I think we need one? Not really. I mean, no. What role is it going to fulfil that isn't fulfilled already?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You've got the Leviathan Dreadnought. That should be peak, and that's something they invented themselves.
The Leviathan can legitimately bring down a knight.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need anything.
Leviathan can bring down most things. They're fucking horrific.
I'm guessing they just thought they need a big centerpiece model for the box to get to people to buy it.
Yeah, that's all it is.
But, you know, there's so much other stuff that they could have done. You know, and they were like, well, we can't put a Fellblade in the box because it's just going to be ridiculously massive. So we're going to have to put this new Dreadnought on the box and call it Saturnine for some reason. Whereas I'd call it Asinine.
I mean, they put in a Spartan. It can't be that much bigger than that.
The Fellblade.
I don't think bigger is necessarily always better. I would have rather they just came out with Castroferum Dreadnought.
Yeah, there's no need.
Plus Castroferum, I would be more than happy with that.
There's no need.
It a little bit so it's in scale with the Mark 6s. And Castroferum Dreadnought. Why wouldn't you want one?
What Mark? Great. What would it be? Mark 3 or 4?
I'd go with a Mark 4. I like the Mark 4 with the helm. The Mark 5. Which one? No, hang on. I'm getting confused now. You've got the standard post box.
That's right.
The Royal Mail. Yeah, the Royal Mail.
The Royal Mail Special. Yeah.
With a Volkite cannon.
Was that 4? And then the 3 was of the helmet. And I think the shoulders.
I think the Mark 4 was the one with the helmet, and the Mark 5 is the one that's the post box.
Yeah, with the visor thing. Yeah.
5. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 3 and 4 were quite similar in it. I think one of them had like kind of concave shoulders, and the other one just had like slabs.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think there's much difference in that because you had the Siege Dreadnought, the ironclad variant of it as well, and.
Models-wise, I'm not that fussed about. I mean, I'll look at the new Horus Heresy box set, and I'm not going to lie, I probably will end up getting it because I just love the aesthetics of all those models. And
I know I'm going to buy it,
but it's the rules that I'm really interested in at this point because I and not even from the point that I'll probably play it because although I watch a lot of Horus Heresy played, I don't get to play very much of anything at all. and Kirsty certainly would be interested in Horus Heresy in a million years. But I'm just interested to see where GW goes with it. Do they appreciate, do specialist games win out? And specialist games are basically like, look, this game's got integrity, it's for adults, we need, to keep it the way it is, it's fine. Or do the big wigs at GW go, no, we need more people playing it, we need to dumb it down, easier to get into, that kind of thing. And I'm really hoping the first one wins out.
Oh, just out of curiosity, how complicated is the Lord of the Rings tabletop game?
I've never played it.
Nope.
I hear it's amazing. I hear it's one of the best games they've done, but I've never played it.
I'm wondering if it's, if we're going with, I'm going to assume Age of Sigmar and 40k basically fight for which one is the most crayon player friendly.
I would say 40k is miles ahead, to be honest. But yeah,
outside of specialist games, say you've got Horus Heresy, Lord of the Rings. Which one of those is probably the more nuanced game?
I think the Lord of the Rings, because obviously it's based on a franchise that is established fiction, is therefore easy to make narrative, and I would say Lord of the Rings is probably the easier game to play.
I've never heard anyone say that game system is shit.
No, everybody I've ever spoken to says it's the best game they make.
I might have to look into how it's played. I mean, I have no personal interest in playing or collecting it, but it's more a curiosity. I just want to see where it sits in the hierarchy of games they do.
I thought the new models were really, really nice. The new plastic box set they did was bloody lovely. But yeah, I couldn't justify getting another game that I wouldn't play. And as much as Kirsty wouldn't play Horus Heresy, Kirsty actively hates Lord of the Rings. And she will only play the Lord of the Rings board game that I've got because she can try and kill Frodo every time with the goblins.
Oh, is that the Barlin's Tomb one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I intentionally target Sam just to upset my wife.
But yeah, that's the only reason I didn't really pick it up, because I do love those models. But I don't need to add more to my great pile of potential, as they call it. Yeah, I'm just really hoping they don't fuck up Heresy, because it's for adults, man. Do you know what I mean? I don't care if 15-year-old Jimmy finds it too complicated. If he wants to step up and play it, good on you, mate. Well done. Come play.
I'm oddly optimistic. I think it's going to be okay. I think they're going to learn lessons from the last one, and I'm hoping it's going to be a good game to play. I mean, if it isn't, well, to be honest, Battlefleet Gothic's great.
Yeah, and that's not been touched for 25 years. I've got to say,
should it be?
I don't have faith in Games Workshop, but I do have faith in specialist games. So it's just which of those wins. Simple as that.
Yeah.
I think of it as Games Workshop is like their head office is, in my head, it's a chimpanzee enclosure, and they're all throwing shit at each other. And then you've got the specialist games bit is the ones in the corner that are minding their own business, not getting involved.
More likely than not, an absolutely spot on description, I think. And as I say, when I spoke to Lucy, she was like, yeah, basically anybody who's old school, anybody who's back from the day, they're all in specialist games now, and all of the main studios are all crewed by new people that toe the company line and do what the company want, basically.
I think that's why I was kind of blinded by Xenogenesis when they were announcing that. It wasn't so much because I don't care for anime or manga whatsoever. I've got I don't hate it. I've just got no interest in it.
Yeah.
So the aesthetics of the game really didn't appeal to me. I wasn't interested in that, but it was the pedigree of the people involved that made me want to know more. The
rule system I don't know if you looked into the rule system for Xenogenesis, but it's very cinematic because it's all based really around activation points.
I'm not really sold on the models, but I want to know more about the world.
As I said in my video, that's where I'm out. The models do nothing for me at all.
I don't really care for the whole sort of anime look.
I love the anime look. I mean, like I've said for the longest time that Gundam should have been a tabletop game for like the longest time now, and it looks like they're going to finally do it next year. But you have like battle suits in Gundam that operate like normal armies, but rather than tanks, they're like walking battle suits. Do you know what I mean? So they have like formations and they go out and do battles and stuff like that. And it's not all in space or anything like that. It's more like Battletech or something like that. So
I have absolutely no knowledge of Gundam whatsoever, other than I think I've seen that one of them's got a big helmet.
Basically they're walking tanks, and some of them fly and some of them go into space and all that kind of stuff because they're space combat. So it's basically it's a mobile suit. It's just a suit that a person sits in and pilots, and it's got 2 legs and 2 arms and normally loads of guns attached to it. And
big mech suit.
It's a big mech suit, yeah, exactly that. And they just blow the shit out of each other. And they're more humanoid than anything from Battletech. Because Battletech tends to have very weird proportions, whereas Gundams have got long legs. And the original Gundam is basically a samurai.
So I went through a phase of because I don't really know much about anime at all, and I was getting really confused, and including Battletech for some reason. I got really confused between Gundam, Battletech, and Robotech.
Oh, I can get that, because Robotech is planes that transform into robots that fight as robots. And then you've got Battletech, which is obviously just robot combat, mech combat, which is like Mech Warrior, which is obviously the arm of that. And then Gundam. And then on top of that, you've got Pat Labor, which is police robots. So, it does get confusing. I will be doing a video on Gundam at some point, because as a hobby, I think it is a viable alternative to Warhammer 40,000. Even if just from a building and painting.
Sort of lore primer.
I'll put a little bit of a lore primer in there. I mean, one thing I will say about Gundam is Gundam does a better job in its TV series and everything of portraying the horrors of war than Games Workshop does. This Japanese cartoon, this Japanese anime series will show you things that Games Workshop will never, ever show you. There'll be like an explosion in the street as a Gundam fires and blows a building up, and loads of people are lying like dead and everything. As these kids get caught up, because invariably the Gundam pilots end up being kids for one reason or another, mainly because nobody fucking invented locking doors on Gundams. But you get to see the horrors of war, and the thing I really like about Gundam is you've got 2 sides. You've got the Earth Federation and you've got Zeon. Neither side is the good guy or the bad guy.
Sounds like 40k.
It's really well done, but it's not like 40k. Like 40k is cartoonish in comparison, which is ironic because Gundam is a cartoon. But seriously, the 1 Year War is one of the best pieces of, forget anime, it's one of the best pieces of sci-fi military fiction I have ever absorbed. Absolutely brilliant, and well worth a read. I'll do a primer for it, but it'll be on my other channel, my film review channel type thingy, because I don't want to bore people too much on the gaming one. I want to keep that to models and things. But Gundam as a modelling thing. Today I had a marker pen, like those new paint marker pens you can get, and I was just colouring plates of my Gundam in, and it works exactly the same as a paintbrush. Exactly the same, but it's a marker pen.
I've seen those.
They're brilliant, mate. They're so good. I got a few from.
We should have bought one for when I was doing my Adeptus Titanicus stuff.
For doing the edges. Perfect. Yeah. Because that takes forever with a brush. I mean, you can mask it all off and do it with an airbrush, obviously. But yeah, no, I'm literally just sitting there and I'm just drawing, painting Gundam. Brilliant. Like all the little Froster bits, painting them all silver rather than the grey plastic and stuff. Makes a hell of a difference. But yeah, I will be doing a Gundam video. A few. I don't want to turn into a Gundam channel, obviously, and bore people, but I do think it is, as a hobby, a viable alternative to the modelling side of 40k at the very least, and a fuck ton cheaper. Like, they start at 10 quid for a Gundam robot to build, and that'll last for a couple of hours to build an articulated robot model that you can then go and paint and weather up and everything if you want to. And they look amazing. So from a modelling perspective, they're great.
You like the aesthetic of them, that's probably
great. Yeah, if you like the look of it, yeah.
I
will say I like the look of the 80s, 90s ones a lot more than the modern ones, where they just keep slapping crap on them until they look like a Primaris tank. So there's a lot of variety in that as well. But no, it's been really good to chat about the Horus Heresy, man. And I know you're going to come in a couple of our second edition videos as well when we get stuck into the codexes.
Yeah, definitely. I've got quite a few of the codexes.
Fantastic. Yeah, I keep saying so often that in comparison, especially to what you get these days, the second edition codexes are just a joy. Even though they're like 90% black and white, they're just all the Mark Gibbons artwork in there is so evocative. You get little stories in there. You get the bestiary sections. You get the lore, like reading the Battle of Macragge in the Tyranid Codex.
Yeah, my wife recently bought me for my birthday. She got hold of a mint condition copy of Codex Chaos.
Oh, nice!
Absolutely phenomenal. I've just been sitting there. We're reading it with a cup of tea in the evening. It's just sitting there having a read, looking through the artwork.
It's a beautiful book, mate, and that's one of the ones that had the. That's got the. Is it John Blanche watercolor pieces in the middle?
To get into 40k.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been like 97, maybe 98. It was one of the last codexes to come out in second edition, and it's the thickest.
Maybe 97, I think.
Yeah, and it's the thickest. Because I think Sisters of Battle came after Chaos, didn't they?
My first codex I bought was Codex Angels of Death.
I think mine was actually Codex Ultramarines. No. Yes, it was Codex Ultramarines, because I didn't have Codex Tyranids when I first got Tyranids, because we made the rules up and fucked it up completely. We had Termagants running around with Toughest 5 and stuff. Hey man, the
artwork of Azrael.
The internet didn't exist. Oh, that's amazing. And Asmodai. The Asmodai artwork by Mark Gibbons is so good.
Yeah, the Asmodai picture. There was also, weirdly enough, he's not a character or anything, but there's a piece of artwork of a Blood Angel sergeant, and it's black and white, and he's standing on a set of stairs, like side on. And I remember looking at that and just thinking, that I want to make that guy. He looks so cool.
And that's what it was like back in the day, wasn't it? It was just maybe it's because like now you get bombarded. You've got all this Warhammer community stuff and stuff like that, but back then we didn't. We just had the books. And we had White Dwarf. And that was it. And that's what inspired us.
We didn't have the community artwork.
I can't stand cartoons and shit. Yeah, no. I mean, I've done a video about how I think the artwork in general has deteriorated and become a lot less grimdark and inspirational. I think Neil Roberts' Horus Heresy covers were probably the peak, the high point for me. And everything after that, I think and that includes his covers, unfortunately. I think it's got worse and worse and worse. Probably under GW's directive. Like the Paul Bonner pieces, where it just showed you a slice of the Imperium, are gone now. They're always these, I don't know, the artwork these days, it just doesn't inspire me, dude. It's very rare that I look at, there's so many Mark Gibbons pieces, I'm like, yes, I would cut that out, I would frame that, and I would put that on the wall.
There's even stuff that doesn't relate to your armies as well. So I was flipping through the Battlefleet Gothic rulebook.
Yeah.
And there's background art of just like thousands and thousands of people hauling shells into.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Ship. I mean, one of my favourite pieces that was more recent, to be fair, I think it was from 2 editions ago, is the Emperor's Palace, and you've got that great big procession of people walking down that street.
Yes, I know exactly the piece you're on about. It's really cool.
Stunning piece, but probably one of the last truly iconic pieces that I can point to, if I'm being honest. I can't remember who did it.
I always love that artwork of Mephiston wiping his face.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
Yes, that's another Mark Gibbons piece.
It really reminds me of one of the old fantasy ones with a vampire and a wolf.
Yes. Yeah, another one, yeah.
Quite similar. Yeah. Both awesome.
I mean, Mark Gibbons is still knocking stuff out now. He's actually sending off a lot of his original art pieces. I follow him on Facebook. He has missed big time. I find a lot of the artwork these days looks very samey, very corporate, very cookie cutter, and not very accomplished. A lot of it is very, like back in the day, it just had something to it. Even stuff like the Clint Langley over the top digital look stuff that he did, it looked like something. Now it doesn't really look like something. It all looks the same to me. Which is unfortunate.
Part of this, I think, is a genuine decline in quality, and I think part of it is also we're all older and heavily attached to what we liked when we were younger.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're doing our second edition series, and I dare say there's a few people who are like, man, this just honestly looks like shit, and it sounds like it plays like shit. And I'm like, no, it's fucking amazing.
I mean, if you're a 10-year-old now,
but that's why we're growing now,
and you're looking at like your Primaris with however shit we think they are. Yeah, if you're 10 years old, you're coming out and it's a hyper detailed model and it's got loads of little intricate bits on it.
Yes. And it's correctly proportioned.
Second edition Necrons and
goblin green bases.
Yeah.
It's correctly proportioned. It's ultra high definition in comparison to those days. it'll have a symmetry that those models didn't have back in those days because they were all sculpted.
Like, boy, let me show you Space Crusade and how awful everything was.
Matt, when we're talking about that, the missile launchers that covered up the hands. Yeah. Those fucking awful models. No, I mean, this is what Matt said this in the past.
Totally not N209 the Dreadnought.
That we live in a time where we get potentially the best possible models, but some of the worst rules.
Such a frustrating time to be into 40k.
Because there are so many. I mean, we've done videos, Matt, haven't we, where we've picked out our favourite models, and some of them are just absolutely just phenomenally good. And then you get other pieces where it's like they haven't tried and they can't sculpt a face to save their lives. I was picking up my Sisters of Sigmar warband earlier. They're from 1999, and they've got better faces than the female faces they do these days. I'm like,
I don't know, if you want to see some really bad faces, though, you've also got the slave girls on Azadel Vex.
Oh man, that was a Gary Morley special. That is a Gary Morley special.
Shocking models.
Gary Morley did the pimp. GIMP mandrakes.
That's it. And immediately flagged.
They were also not great. Yeah, in fact, most of his work, unfortunately, on the Dark Elf, because he was Mr. Elf, and then after he completely fucked up the 3rd edition Dark Eldar, they put him on Lord of the Rings, where he went back to doing good work. But yeah, those slave girls, those facial proportions, man, they've had all the Botox. Must be homunculus, just constantly injecting it with it. Your cheekbones are not high enough.
We will never see those models ever redone.
No, never. I'm actually wondering, genuinely, if slavery is even mentioned in the new Dark Eldar Codex.
These are prisoners with jobs.
Prisoners with
under
jobs.
the control of the Dark Eldar.
They do not go on raiding. They do not go on raids. They go on.
It's enforced employment.
They go and invite people to a party with punch and pie. And then when they turn up, there's no punch and pie.
Our mandatory workforce.
You are mistaken. This is just bad PR. All of our Dark Eldar these days go on raving parties.
Raving parties, yeah. I think, yeah, it's another one that, as much as I love the original army, you've got to, with Jeep, they can't sell Dark Eldar that takes slaves and fucking do horrible things to women and stuff like that. You just can't do it.
I love how much they delicately tiptoe around having a god of sex in the game.
Well, barely at all anymore. But I remember reading the Malice Darkblade omnibus, and there's a bit where like they've just come back from a slaving raid, and they've just come back to the Dark Elf port in Nagaroth, and there's a line where Malice Darkblade is like, it says something like, one of the woman slaves didn't manage being passed around the crew or something like that. And I was like, fucking hell, you wouldn't get away with that these days. Because everything's got to be so neutered and sterilised and things like that. And you know, things like the Demon Carbula. As much as I can see why people would have a problem with that, and I can genuinely, without being one way or the other, I can see why people would find that distasteful. These are some of the extremes that are in this universe, and it's not all fucking sunshine and rainbows. It's not. People
it's presented as completely distasteful. It's meant to be. It's meant to be horrific.
It's meant to be, and art is meant to be able to challenge and horrify. And I don't want a sanitized fucking world. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I'm an adult. I want to be challenged. I want this world. You know, it's like if you read. Have you ever read the Ulrich books by Jonathan Moorcock?
Yes.
That kind of shit is a lot of what the Dark Elves were based on, and so that's what I want in my fantasy. It's like in Dungeons and Dragons now. It's all been sanitized and it's all lovely and friendly. I'm like, fuck, all this is stupid. This isn't what would happen. I don't want to see that happen to these universes that we so enjoy here, and it's certainly to an extent happened with 40k already. You know, there's a lot less of the grimdark and the horrific stuff in it, which, as I say, is present in things like Gundam, which is amazing. You know,
it's interesting where the moral lines lie, right? Really, though, isn't it? Because you've got, you know, we can't depict slavery, we can't depict anything like overly sexual. But here's our new unit of arco-flagellants.
Yeah. And
here's a penitent engine.
Yeah, these are some of the places where the grimdark has endured. We were talking about the Ballistarius, where they just keep walking.
Yes, that was it. The for the Skitarii.
Yeah, the Iron Strider thing.
That was it. Yeah.
And that's pretty grim dark. That they keep walking all the time because they're just wired up and they're slave. But like even servitors, servitors are a horrific thing, but these days they're pretty sanitized and I don't know, man. Everything is pretty toned down when it comes to 40K. It's very cartoon-like.
Yeah, what's left of a human being piloting the automata for the Mechanicum is horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes RoboCop look like a nice Sunday picnic.
Exactly.
Like the Thalax and Usrat. It's just like
in constant agony.
The brain neck would scream if it had a mouth.
As I say, I don't expect the Dark Eldar to survive. I do not think. I might be completely wrong, but I do not think the word slavery is going to make it in. I don't think it is. I mean, hell, even the Skaven lost their slaves. There's no Skaven slaves or Skaven prisoners with jobs. So, the toning down and the sanitising in the name of political correctness, but also probably chasing a massive audience is just something that we're going to have to live with, unfortunately. I mean, hell, the 5th edition Dark Elf Warhammer Army book had a higher nipple count than the fucking Sunday Sport. Everybody had their tits out. So there's some things you just can't have these days because they're trying to sell to younger and younger kids. Back in the days, we'd be like, your kid's younger than 13? Bring back when they're 13.
If you make everything too safe and everything too bad, there will be people that go against it. So you'll end up with 3D prints of.
Well, this is where you do, You have the 3D prints and stuff, but I mean, I'm not saying everything needs to be the level of Raging Heroes, where everything's fucking voluptuous supermodels with their tits out. I'm not saying that at all.
Hi, welcome to Kingdom Death.
Oh, Kingdom, yeah, exactly. But a bit of edge is sometimes absolutely fine. Not everything has to be flavourless and boring. Yeah, well, we'll just see how it goes. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, we've been doing this for 30 years now. I don't think we're going to stop anytime shortly. In the grand scheme of things, we will get to see what happens to the hobby. I mean, they're doing a Warhammer fucking live-action TV show. I personally think that's going to be a disaster, but we'll just have to wait and see.
I have no faith in that at all.
No, I don't think they should have done it, to be honest, but, there you go. So
I have faith in the Cavill. I do not have faith in Amazon, so...
Yeah, exactly that. And
the problem has never been Henry Cavill. The problem has been everything that happens around Henry Cavill is generally awful.
Yes, unfortunately, he gets attached to projects that he's really enthusiastic with, and inevitably ends up getting disappointed by.
Which means, oddly, he's become the angel of death for good things.
He has, yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, he is kind of the angel of death for franchises, and through no fault of his own.
No, I'm not blaming the guy. I'm just saying, if Henry Cavill's turning up in it, it's probably going to be shit now, sadly.
Yeah, well, he's just finished filming the Voltron movie, so I have to wait and see on that one. I was never much of a Voltron fan. Hey, Sydney Sweeney's been approached for the Gundam movie, so I mean, that's...
Watching it immediately.
Exactly. There you go.
Twice in the cinema, by myself.
Well, never mind, guys. We've got the Predators to look forward to.
I'm not sure about that one either. I'm really not.
The animated one looks good.
I have to wait and see.
I will say the memes have been fantastic.
Oh yeah. There's been some good. There is good meme fodder. I mean, it might be good. I thought Prey was at best above average.
I liked it quite a bit.
I really like Prey until how she takes out the Predator is absolutely stupid.
There were some ridiculous amounts of plot armor going on.
Well, that and the I need to line him up exactly in this swamp with the helmet that I'm then gonna.
It's just a bit where
it's so stupid.
He gets one hit on her, and that should have been it. That should have been game over. And she takes that hit and comes back, and I'm just like, no, I'm not. I'm sorry, you're done. Love.
I had one of those moments where I cringed almost inside out when the guy says, "If it bleeds, we can kill it." I was like, "Fuck off."
God, that's just like Alien Romulus with "Get away from her, you bitch." I cringed through my fucking seat.
Alien Romulus needs to be put in a vault, fired into space, and never mentioned again.
See, I don't mind that.
Fully
hated Alien Romulus.
Yeah,
I consider that comment unnecessary, but justified in the context.
But we all know why it's there.
I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean the entire film was like key jangling. Pretty much the entire film was just key jangling.
Oh, why would you rip off arguably the worst film in the franchise and do it again?
Mental, innit? Absolutely mental. When I saw that hybrid, I was just like, what? Do you not remember the end of Alien Resurrection?
Maybe don't bring up the black goo ever again.
Yeah, she definitely left the black goo alone.
Also,
I love the fact that they had a secret. I love the fact they had a secret military facility space station that gave you backstory as into the name of it as you walked onto it. What the fuck?
I like how they depicted a asteroid ring works like a belt sander when things hit it.
I don't really know enough about astrophysics to say whether that's accurate or not.
Well, I would imagine it would get pelted to pieces, not get stripped away like a belt sander.
Yeah, I imagine there'd be some forces involved that would mean it start ricocheting all over the place rather than staying where it did. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of Romulus, but other people were to the extent that we were getting a sequel.
Space huggers aren't that stupid, and they don't work like that.
Well, I mean,
apparently they do now.
Well, yeah.
They reverse engineered the space hugger to get the black goo. So why did they make another 500 of them and just stick them all over the fucking place?
Also, I'm really amazed you managed to find anything of the Nostromo after that blast.
Yeah, exactly. That's another one. Yeah, there shouldn't have been anything left. On top of that, how the fuck did she end up having a chest burster bounced out of her, hit the ship control, to somehow crash into another fucking bay? What?
Lucky.
No. And then you got the British guy who, I think, comes out of the space vagina and he just stands there gormlessly looking at it. Fucking no. Well, absolutely ridiculous film. And the girl, no, it is. No, Romulus is awful. I did a video. If you want to check out my other channel, Critical Reviews, I did a video ripping it apart.
The alien gestation period is exactly as long as every film needs it to be.
Yes, exactly, yeah. It's a trope. It's a trope. It's like the trope of if you get stabbed by a knife, the knife will kill you in exactly the amount of time that it needs to. It's so inconsistent. Yeah. You can be stabbed and die immediately. You can be stabbed and fucking live for 4 hours.
Ripley's gestation period was some time, shall we say, in Alien 3.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Alien Resurrection, it seems to be about 20 seconds for one guy.
Yep.
Who also used it like a ballistic missile through someone's head.
It was so funny.
Alien
versus Predator is about half an hour.
I'm so glad there's only 2 Alien films.
Yeah. No, I'll give Alien 3. I will give Alien 3 Assembly Cut. That gets a pass, and that's the end. That's the end of the trilogy for me. I will fight for Alien 3, and I will be doing so at some point with somebody who works on it. It's just he's stupid and busy, and I can't get hold of him.
I will watch Alien 3, but I've got to be mentally centered, ready enough to sit there and watch it.
Oh, it's a very British film. It's a very.
It's got to be it's got to be the fancy cut. Not
it did terribly in America. You've got to watch
absolutely
the assembly cut that's got Gogs in it and how he worships the alien and releases it after they've caught it. You've got to watch that version. Yeah. If you don't watch that version, you're not watching Alien 3.
There's one bit in it where if you watch it and if you stop and think about how absolutely ridiculous it is, it becomes laughable. So you know when Ripley goes outside to find Bishop and those guys try and assault her.
Yeah.
And then you get the guy who bends her over the metal bar, and then for no reason decides to put his goggles on. What the fuck?
Hey, they made it quite clear that they've all got lice.
But he needs to do something cool and stupid on screen long enough for Dylan to turn up.
It's another cinema trope, isn't it? It happens all the time. You get people that they have an affectation that allows somebody to change the plot.
Although,
in a way,
to be fair, I really like.
It's like the old bad guy giving his plan to somebody before he tries to kill them. But I do like Alien 3. I love the grimness of it. I love the. I don't necessarily.
Bonus points for Charles Dance.
Yeah, Charles Dance is great in it. So's the guy who plays Darwin? No. The black guy. Help me out.
Dylan,
that's it. Dylan, thank you.
Yeah,
he's awesome in it. It's got quite a lot of good British actors in it, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty much full of them.
Yeah.
Paul McGann's in there.
Yeah, Paul McGann's in there.
Who's the simple guy?
One of the Pertwees in it as well, isn't it?
But yeah, something Brown, Ralph Brown.
Do you mean 85 or the guy who believes he sees a dragon?
No, it's 85. I think the dragon guy is actually Paul McGann.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Not Pertwee. Oh God, the guy who plays Murph. The guy survives at the end. He's a famous actor. I can't remember his name.
I can't picture him off the top of my head.
He gets bonus points for shouting, "Oh, fuck off!" Away with the Titanic guy.
That's great. Yeah.
So British.
No, I do generally have a soft spot for Alien 3. I recognise that it's it's not in the same.
Reignited my need for it.
Yeah, it's not in the same league, and it changed a hell of a lot and pissed a hell of a lot of people off. But I have a soft spot for Alien 3, and I like the end of the trilogy where Ripley throws herself in and caresses the Queen as it bursts. I think that's a really good moment, and then they went and fucked it up with Alien Resurrection and brought it back.
I do like the Michael Biehn interview where he's asked about Alien 3 and he goes, "Oh man, fuck Alien 3."
Well, the funny thing is, there was actually a script written, wasn't there, with him surviving in it. It's just not the one that was used.
There was also that Blomkamp movie that never got made.
Yes.
I was looking for. He does good work.
He does do good work. Yeah.
He declined in quality, I'd argue, but because District 9 was absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm.
A tail battle suit, you say? Why not?
Yeah, District 9, fucking Braun was so good. I love District 9.
I'm getting work flashback.
Games Workshop actively ripped that off as well afterwards, where they came up with that Ravana battle suit. It looks it's painted to look like District 9 stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like with the same paint scheme, like with the segmented colours.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was the shittest variant of the Riptide suit out of the three.
Yeah, but I got what they were going for.
Yeah.
Did he do
he did Elysium and Chappie.
Elysium, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elysium.
Chappie was good, apart from the two people in it that I couldn't fucking stand.
The Ant Ward.
Yeah. That was it.
Yeah. I thought Chappie was charming. I liked the character himself. I'm not sure if I liked the film or not.
I was laughing when he was stabbing people and telling them they're going to sleep.
I love the idea behind Chappie as well. It's really cool. It's like robot just gets taken by a bunch of ne'er-do-wells and corrupted. Oh, it's pretty cool.
Although I would even take his alien thing less than I would see it. I really want to see a District 10.
I keep hearing it's coming, but when? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, District 9 came out in 2009, so it's been 16 years now.
Jesus,
a while. It doesn't seem that long, to be fair.
Because it always seems so obvious. Well, at the end, when he goes, it's like, well, he's going to come back, right? And it's like, I guess not. I guess we just keep thinking about it. But I mean,
although as much as I'd love a sequel to it, I almost don't want one.
Yeah. No, I'm the same with everything.
Current Hollywood.
As much as I'd love to see Space Hulk, getting back to GW. As much as I'd love to see Space Hulk, I don't trust them not to fuck it up somehow.
Oh, they will. I was really worried for a while that they were going to release Space Hulk, and it was going to be filled with like fucking aggressors or something nonsense. And then they brought the Terminators back, and I was like, oh, thank Christ! Because if they do Space Hulk now, it's actually going to be Space Hulk.
Yeah, we're all right now.
Yeah. Hybrids in it.
I mean, it's the same as if they did Battlefield Gothic. I'd be worried that they completely ruin it.
I 100% think if they do bring Battlefleet Gothic back, it's going to be Battlefleet Heresy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and the thing is, therefore, it doesn't work because the ships will all look the same.
Yeah, well,
because the Imperial ships.
You wouldn't
have the Imperial ships.
You won't have any of the space churches.
Yeah, exactly.
Weirdly enough, you won't see a lot of the Chaos ships either, because things like the Despoiler class cruiser doesn't get invented till M36.
Strange enough, the thing that I think will come is because I hear they're winding down Warcry. I think they're going to redo More Time, and I think they're going to fucking destroy it. I'm going to make it old Age of Sigmar style and make it complete shit.
What was the one they did before Warcry? Fantasy skirmish game. It was basically their version of Kill Team. Or is that Warcry?
That is Warcry.
It is Warcry.
Yeah, it's Warcry.
Oh, okay.
You've got Warcry and you've got Underworlds. You've got Warcry and you've got Underworlds. No, Warcry's still going. It's like it's on its third edition now, or something. Second or third edition now, but it just doesn't sell as much as Kill Team does. But then what you don't understand is the main reason that Kill Team sells out is because the models are the only way you can get them at that stage. 40k combat patrols are a tenner more expensive than the Age of Sigmar ones, despite the Age of Sigmar ones having more models. You pay a 40k tax because it's the most expensive. It's the most popular system.
Yeah, I'm still surprised they're trying to charge you 50 quid for 10 scouts.
That's mental. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Kill Team, is because it's got all the fucking tokens in it, which is why I at least appreciated that when they did the Krieg, they did a separate box of Krieg, took out the special sprue, and did it cheaper at least. But I'd still personally, and again, I'll be doing a video on this, spoiler, I'd like to see the easy to build systems come back. I think that if you've got an army and you've got 50,
Heresy.
you've got 50 fucking Imperial Guardsmen in it that cost 3 points each. I don't think those models need to be 6 or 7 pieces each. No.
With how easy it is to tinker with CAD stuff these days, they could totally do like a 10-man snap together set of guardsmen that all had different poses.
Yeah.
It would 100% be possible.
Easily. Yeah. They just won't, because it's easier to. Well, I mean, it's the same reason they raise the prices on the old stuff. Is if they don't raise the prices on the old stuff as well as the new stuff, people will just buy the old stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Orcs, Imperial Guard, like to a certain extent, Tyranids, you could totally do these sort of things.
But your Horde armies should be, for the Horde bits at least, they should be cheap and easy to do.
Cheap and hoardy.
You shouldn't have to spend 30 quid on 10 models when you need 60 models.
No.
And that 60 models is like 250 points. And you're like, it's just mental. And that's why, when it comes to that kind of thing, I just be like, just fucking 3D print it. They're going to get deleted by the handful anyway. Nobody's really looking at them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's one of the reasons I don't like Horde armies, because I like to spend a bit of time on each model. So I'm not really a big. It says the guy that paints 20-man tactical squads, but I'm not really a big fan of I would never collect Imperial Guard, just because I don't want my infantry to be wiped out after I've spent 6 hours painting each model.
Yeah, as I say, they should be so much cheaper and easier to use, and it's like, why would you play Guard when you can just spend the same amount on Custodes and get 4 times the points?
And all you need is a can of Retributor gold.
Yeah.
You're kind of done, aren't you?
And you're pretty much done, So, there's some barriers to entry. I mean, I don't know, we'll see what happens with GW. I felt one of the most interesting things I thought in that new video that went up for the Horus Heresy was the post-it note that said droppers. I'm not sure if GW will make the move to drop bottles, but I fervently hope that they do. Because P3 did.
Just trolling point. Well, you drop a bottle still aren't perfect. They still gum up and.
Well, they do, yeah. I mean, but you can just unblock them with a bit of guitar wire. They do need a lot more mixing than. But then even the GW, like if you tried like Urian Macar Flesh or whatever the fuck it's called, it separates the second you stop using it.
Yeah.
Games Workshop whites are really bad as well. Like the Borax white dries out immediately. Like I've never had a pot that lasts more than a few months.
Yeah. Terrible. So at least
open it. Still downhill from there.
At least drop bottles don't do that. I've got like a bottle of Vallejo Prussian Blue. I've had like 15 years, and I've got GW Citadel hexagon paints that are perfect. Do you know what I mean?
I still have an almost full bottle of Snakebite Leather Wash.
Yeah. Mithril Silver. I think I'm just getting to the end of my pot of Mithril Silver, unfortunately. But that's lasting like I literally had that 30 years. You know what I mean? And then you get GW paints these days, and they just don't last.
As much as we rag on a lot of the Games Workshop stuff, I will say some of their newer paints are still fantastic.
Yeah.
I've been using some of the. I actually hated the contrast stuff when it came out because of the way they were advertising it.
Yeah, they advertised to just slap it on. That's not how you use it.
The easy way to paint.
Yeah.
So there's an apothecary white that you can paint over like a normal white, and it shades it without it looking shit.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, provided you can stop it from going blotchy, it's great for that.
Yeah, as long as it's about how you paint it on. But if you get it on so it goes into the recesses and goes on properly, it's great stuff. I mean, some of the contrasts are really, really good.
Yeah, they're really good. As you say, it's just the way it was marketed as an all-in-one painting solution. Just slap it on and your model's painted. It's like...
I mean, aside from contrast, Games Workshop tend to be behind the curve with paint, to be honest.
I think a range refresh is coming very soon.
Like I've been playing with the fluoro paints from like Vallejo, and doing plasma weapons and stuff.
The new stuff's really good. The new Vallejo stuff's really good.
Yeah, some of the fluoro green, I'm absolutely in love with at the moment for doing plasma guns.
Yeah,
and I love seeing things like that. I really like the colour shift paints as well. I'm surprised Games Workshop hasn't touched those.
Probably because you can only really use them through an airbrush. And GW Air didn't work, did it?
You can paint them on. I've painted on like the colour shift.
Really?
The only barrier, the only real barrier is that you need to shake the ever-loving shit out of them before you use them.
Okay.
And they need to go over a gloss black.
Right, gotcha. Yeah.
Because it's something about the gloss underneath allows them to shift correctly.
To shine through, yeah. I used an airbrush for my oh god, what are they called? Tuscan Raiders, not Tuscan Raiders. Ash Race Nomads, because I painted all the
They are Tuscan Raiders.
Yeah, they are. I painted mine as Tuscan Raiders, yeah. They are, the fleas I did in colour shift, like a Vader purple, I think it was called. It looked awesome.
Nice.
Like a shift between blue and purple, and it gives you that kind of beetly, metallic sheen. I know Matt's been painting his little tanks recently.
Yeah, man, if only I still had a shitty plastic hand flamer that attached to a can of compressed air.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
I mean, it was a valiant effort.
I actually own that.
Oh, do you've got the hand flamer spray gun?
Yeah.
No way. It's probably
I've never used it, but I've got it.
It's probably worth quite a bit of money now, you know. As a relic, as a curiosity, nothing more. I don't think actually fucking worked. The fact you had to buy a can of compressed air to make it work was just what? No.
The thing was okay. It was the can of compressed air that was always a problem, because the more you used the airbrush, the colder the can got. Until it just went, no, I'm right. You'd be like, shit.
Pressure.
Yeah, you'd be like, no, I've got to get a fucking bucket of hot water and dump it in that and use it in that instead.
The only real problem I had with the because I watched videos on how to use it, but it doesn't seem to have any kind of pressure control.
No.
So it works like a spray can. It's on or it's off.
It's on or it's off.
You've probably got a gradient work with it.
You've probably got more control with a spray can, to be honest.
I'll stick with my Badger Patriot.
Yeah, I was going to say these days, I mean, you can get those little handheld airbrushes, can't you? They've got a little mini compressor inside them. They're fine for undercoating. They're fine for undercoating and base coating and stuff. It's not like I ever need to do anything more than that. The airbrush is a time-saving thing to me, nothing more. I'm not skilled enough with it to do anything else.
I've had a little play with it, but I don't. For me, it's having the patience to clean the bloody thing out after.
Yeah, pain in the arse.
That is a chore.
Yeah, that's why I like to do base coating for it. And it's like, yep, one colour, clean it, done. I can't be one of these people who's like, right, I'm going to spray this bit, clean it out, put a new colour in, spray that bit, clean it out.
The stupid mistake of my Night Lord's army is all done using a Vallejo colour that only works for an airbrush.
Oh.
So every time a new box set comes out, I'm like, shit, I've got to set the compressor up and get all this out again.
Get the airbrush out. You get one of those little portable ones, then you I saw one set Vince Vincello was
for an airbrush as well.
I think Vince Vincello was showing them off. They were weird. They were like an airbrush. It was like a little portable handheld airbrush, but the paint came in bottles that you just took the bottle out, put the bottle back in, and there's like a nozzle that goes in front of the needle, so you don't have to clean them out. You just put a new bottle in every time for each colour.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
It doesn't dry out. That's impressive.
Doesn't dry. Really cool. Really cool. I can't remember what it's called now. But yeah, I think it was Vince Mancello who was showing it off. I saw a video and I was like, oh, that looks cool. Not that expensive either. It was like 70 quid, I think. And you've got 6 bottles with it. So you just have to pre-mix your bottles with your different paints. It's got a little cap. It's got a little cap on it, obviously. And then when you're spraying, you just literally take your finger off the trigger, take one bottle out, put a new bottle in, obviously just give you a tiny bit of spray to get the colour to flush through, and then just carry on spraying.
Ooh.
Really cool. Really cool. I was like, oh yeah, might get one of those one day, but I don't paint enough at the moment to make it worth it.
No. So with the new Heresy stuff, Matt, what are you sticking with Dark Angels, or are you going to try anything else?
No, 100%. I mean, I've got Dark Angels, I've got Mechanicum, and I've got a whole bunch of Solar Auxilia in boxes on sprue still. So I'm good for choice, but I'll just stick with most Dark Angels, I think.
Okay, what about you, Alan? Are you still sticking with Raven Guard, do you reckon?
Yeah, Raven Guard, nice and easy. Real easy to paint, that's what I like about that. But I've also got Mechanicum and Solar Auxilia. The Solar Auxilia might get moved on, I'm thinking, but the Mechanicum I really like. I really want to keep those. So, but yeah, Raven Guard, because they're just literally spray black, Zenithal, this really nice colour that Colour Forge do called Raven Black. No, it's just a off grey black, I guess, with a little bit of blue in it. So Zenithal, some of that. Because like, when it comes to Heresy, I'm all about the grim dark look. I don't want everything looking pristine and edge highlighted and like bollocks. And it's like, you know what, I can just weather the crap out of it and it'll look fine on the battlefield. I mean, the base is tight all together. So as long as it's got the colours in it for the Raven Guard, like the white shoulder pads and all that kind of stuff, it'll look absolutely fine, I think.
Yeah.
Or the white icon on the shoulder pads rather than the white helmets, things like that. So, but yeah, Raven Guard just because they'll be really easy to do, and you never know, we might even get some plastic recon models eventually.
One day.
Yeah, maybe. But
I'm going to do my my Night Lords. Is going to be my primary. I've got my Black Shields I work on, and I've also got a small Loyalist army of Blood Angels that I haven't really done a tremendous amount with recently.
Nice.
I'm amused by the way you said that slightly more quietly than the rest.
Yes, it's like...
It's because I haven't done nearly enough Dreadnoughts for them, that's the problem.
It's like Ash in Medieval Dead.
Yeah, they've got a rite of war called Day of Revelation, where it's basically everything is jump pack. And I kind of want to do a Blood Angels force where everyone has jump packs. And I want to do one of those Contemptors. Is it the Incarnadine Contemptor? The one that's got the giant booster on its back so it can do a jump pack move.
Oh, yeah,
or a
yeah,
deep strike. Just because that's absurd. I really want to do that.
I'm really hoping we get some... I will do some more Ultramarines, but I really want to get some super heavy Space Marine tanks. And I want the rest of the Mechanicum stuff that we haven't got yet.
There's 3 super heavy tanks for the Space Marines. I can't stand one of them, and the other 2 I really, really like.
Fellblade, Glaive, and what's the last one?
Falchion.
Oh, Falchion, that's right, yeah.
I always want to say Saracen there, but it's not. It's a Falchion.
It's Falchion,
yeah. I don't like the Falchion. I think it's because it doesn't have a movable turret. Something about it annoys me.
It's just like a giant assault gun.
Yeah, it's the one with all the
glaive.
It's the one with all the bits in the back, isn't it?
Yeah. Everyone loves the glaive, the giant Volkite one. I really like the Fellblade because it reminds me of a mammoth tank from Command & Conquer.
Yeah, I like the Fellblade. I wonder if I do a kit that builds all of them, or if I do them individually.
The Falchion's too different to the other 2. There'll probably be a kit that allows you to do a Fellblade or a glaive
with the turret.
Yeah. But then we say that they did 2 different versions of the Predator, didn't they? So maybe they'll do one of each. Maybe they'll just do one box for each. That wouldn't surprise me at the same time.
I mean, the Falchion's what? It's a twin-linked turbo destructor?
Yeah, I mean, in game terms, it's absolutely amazing. It's got a Titan's weapon on it.
Yeah, it's like a Titan killer.
Yes.
But in terms of what looks cool, to me, the mammoth tank look of the Fellblade is number one.
I love the Fellblade. I've been wanting a Fellblade since they started doing the Horus Heresy Edition 2. For ages, I was just like, and we haven't got it yet, but I'm sure it is going to be coming.
I was at Games Day when they previewed it. They showed it off, and I was just like, "That is amazing! Whatever that is, I want one." It was that, but it was that, and it was the same time you had the Fellblade was announced, and we saw Angron.
Good times.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to bring any more Xenos races into Heresy once they've done the existing factions?
I hope so. No, I don't think we'll see Xenos in Heresy. I wouldn't mind if they allowed some elements of 40k armies to be usable in Heresy. But
I mean, Orcs and
because of
Eldar,
the nature of the setting, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, Orcs and Eldar are the 2. You literally can't have Necrons.
No.
Orcs and Eldar would be the 2.
These guys woke up early, unlucky.
Yeah.
Well, you could go back to the second edition idea where they're Necron Raiders because there's not enough of them yet to be a.
Yeah. I think I kind of like to see Orcs. So I like to see Orcs done properly. And
Eldar would be very different because they've just been shit canned from the fall.
Yeah.
So they're not really. Kamara's not really enough of a thing yet.
But I mean, the Orcs or the Aurochs, because they're like this great big creatures. I'd love to see some Orcs that look properly fucking dangerous and not just gormless and fucking stupid.
I mean, the Orcs at the Heresy are absolutely, even racially, they've been absolutely decimated, because Ullanor is where they get completely shagged.
Yeah. Ullanor is the one, isn't it? Yeah.
Which later on becomes Armageddon.
Armageddon, yes, yeah.
Yeah, didn't like that sort of events. Stop making the galaxy smaller.
yeah, very much so. But at the same time, don't make it intergalactic. That's the last thing we need. I don't want to know what's beyond the galaxy's edges.
If they were going to put a Xenos race in Heresy, I would rather they put something new in that we haven't seen before. Something that probably doesn't make it through the Heresy. Yeah,
the problem with that though is like, because obviously the Great Crusade were wiping everything out, so you can't have them being a constant threat. I guess that's the problem.
No, well, you've got races that do survive into 40k that have never had a model range like the Ragdan.
Yeah.
Or because the Ragdan absolutely
the Xenocides.
Yeah, where a lot of the legions get absolutely mullered by them early on. Like the Dark Angels and the Raven Guard really get a kicking from the Ragdan.
Yeah, they have to do like a whole bunch of multi-legion team-ups to grind them down.
Yeah, because they're so dangerous.
Yeah, something like that would be quite cool, I suppose. But again, it's just where it's the same problem I have with the Mark 6 thing. I was like, you've just tied it to a time now, and I don't care about your lies where you say it was used all the way through the Heresy. It fucking wasn't. You know.
But some of the 40k aliens now are so childish and cartoonish. I don't really want them in Heresy.
No, but that's why I want them done properly. That's why I say I'd love to see orcs done in Heresy, because they would look like proper fucking orcs, not these stupid things. But you are right, a lot of 40k stuff just looks stupid now. I still hate the aesthetic of the Vosan.
Actual Tyranids would probably be out as a race. You wouldn't be able to fit them in because the events of the Heresy directly lead to why the Tyranids come towards the galaxy.
Yeah, Pharos. So I mean the Tyranids aren't encountered canonically until much later anyway. So
I mean, I can imagine scout forces, maybe like some sort of gene stealers or something like that. They get fired off all over the place.
But it'd be an oddity, wouldn't it? It'd be like, they just encounter some weird creature that had a nest or something like that they had to exterminate.
I mean, the Tau could only be used as a proxy for another alien race.
That's what I was doing with mine.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of relatively similar technology to aliens that get the shit kicked out of them in the Crusade. Weirdly enough, what I'd really like to see is if they were going to do something not necessarily Heresy but more Great Crusade focused, I'd like to see another human empire.
Okay.
Like another faction of humans that just do not make it.
Like in Horus Heresy, the first lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Interex and or the technocracy.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see something significantly different to what we've got.
Yeah, maybe something that's there's a really cool bit in Horus Rising where they talk about they come across a planet of like robots basically, and the robots are they never become malevolent, but they don't recognise the Astartes as humans, so they attack them. And the tragedy is they wipe out this sentient robot race that were loyal to mankind but never saw mankind in the Astartes.
They're too evolved.
They're just too unrecognisable from human beings.
Yeah.
I always thought that was really cool, and I wanted to know more about it because I love the little bits of background like that. Like I really love the Men of Iron.
Mm. Yeah, you get little nods to them every now and again, don't you? Things like Blackstone.
UR025, yeah. I really love things like that. I'd want to know more about maybe some Men of Iron that made it a small pocket.
Yeah.
Have them as an army. Something that they've got like singularity cannons and stuff like that the Mechanicum just cannot deal with.
Yeah, I really like the was it the Harad who no it wasn't Harad. Who was it who fucked over the Iron Warriors with the time weapons?
It's the Harad.
It is the Harad. Yeah, I thought that was a really cool concept where they aged seconds, decades and seconds kind of thing, and Pitarabo's Legion was just getting like fucking just aged to death kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought
you could have an army of Jokero that just fucking MacGyver shit on the battlefield.
And then you said that in that video, it said Codex Jokero is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to get any of this. I think we'll get the heresy, Liber Hereticus thing, and I think we'll get the Talons of the Emperor, where we'll inevitably see the first Lady Custodes models. Custodes, indeed.
I mean, the bright side is we all know none of us are going to buy them, so...
Yeah, I'll just fucking just ignore them. I can just ignore it, to be honest. It's
not my heresy.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. Just no, please, no. There's plenty of ladies in 40k. I would say, in actual fact, if anything, they're far overrepresented, in comparison to the amount of female players that there are, if you know what I mean.
We've got the Sisters of Silence, I suppose.
And they should have done something with those. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see their role expanded.
Like fish tank carrier thing.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, it's got like 3 things at the front of it, hasn't it? It's like
the Iris Hatch thing.
Iris Hatch, yeah.
It's a cool model. I like it.
Bonkers.
It looks bizarre enough. It's basically meant to be a mobile prison for capturing psychers, isn't it?
Yeah. I would have much rather they did something like that than just lazily do female custodians and then lazily say that they've always been there. That's the killer point for me. I was like, you can do what you want with 40k. Fuck it. Yeah, you need lady custodians because
it's too late for that.
It's too late. Yes, that ship has sailed. I'm going to call it there, gentlemen, because it's 12:30.
Yeah, we're going to start turning to pumpkins in a minute.
Indeed. Well, this is 3 hours. It's the longest CHEBS. It's a mega CHEBS.
Mega CHEBS.
And this time you see, it's not just a pair of tits. Chatting hobby, endless bollocks and stuff.
Total Recall.
It's free, exactly. It's free tits. It's Total Recall, or Paul.
Thanks, Penny.
Free tits, awesome. But no, it's been a blast, man. We will do some second edition stuff at some point. We'll definitely do the Chaos Codex. It sounds like you're very, very familiar with that one, and the Angel of Death one. I think that'll be good.
Or Angels of Death all day. The Codex Chaos one is just a joy to look at.
It's such a good book, man.
Beast.
Such a good book. It's just.
I'm still trying to get a copy of Codex Orcs.
Not managed that one yet. I think Orcs and Imperial Guard are the only 2 that I need to get now.
I'm missing Orcs and Ultramarines are the 2 I need.
Really? That's weird. I've got. I think I've got a spare copy of Ultramarines, but it's battered to fuck because it's the one I used to use back in the day. So you can have it, but yeah, it's fucked. I think Orcs and Imperial Guard are the only 2 that I haven't got. But I've not had too many problems getting hold of second edition codexes, to be honest. So
they pop up fairly frequently on eBay.
On eBay, yeah.
Some are harder to get. I mean, Codex Chaos is. I don't know how my wife managed to get hold of it, but it is usually madly expensive.
Sisters of Battle is the one that I've seen goes for silly money.
Yeah, I mean, Codex Chaos was averaging at around about 90 quid.
Jesus, really? Wow.
Yeah. We're talking for a non. You've also got to be really careful. Pro tip for anyone who's looking for these on eBay: be really careful when you're looking these up on eBay because they sold a set of coasters using the same artwork.
They did, yeah. I've got them.
If you look up on eBay these codexes, the amount of times they won't tell you it's a coaster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got to be so careful.
Holy shit, dude!
Because I saw a Codex Chaos for like 10 quid. I was like, fuck, I might have to buy this immediately. And when you scroll down, you look at the curved corners on the artwork. You're like, that's actually a coaster.
Yeah. There was
But they're listing it as Codex Chaos because the item is literally called Codex Chaos.
Yes, there's Chaos, Eldar, Angels of Death. I don't know what the 4th one was.
I think there was a Space Wolves one.
Might have been Space Wolves. Yeah. Shit, man, that's well cheeky.
Yeah, watch out for that.
Yeah, so I think I've only got 2 left to get. I should definitely get them though before they.
At the moment, I'm currently tracking a copy of First Edition Space Hulk.
Oh, nice.
Still got mine.
Well, Matt, I might have to come and rob you then.
Yeah,
I'm moving house immediately.
To Nottingham, yes. Splendid. We'll get some games in.
I'll show the wife would go for it, but I'd probably be okay with it. Matt, you coming into the office today? No.
Yeah.
I'm now 200 miles away, sorry.
Splendid. Right, okay.
I'm about 100 miles in between either of you.
Yeah, I was going to say, sit down. We need to meet up at that point in the middle that you was talking about. That sounds good. I can't remember what it was.
That was Peterborough, I think.
Peterborough, yeah. Get some games in. I'm sure there's got to be somewhere in Peterborough to play games.
Midway at all.
Because those games of Battlefleet Gothic we played were fucking loads of fun. It really reminded me of what a great game that was.
Matt, get yours built. We'll play Battlefleet Gothic. It's great.
It is a really good game, man, and you don't need a lot to play either, especially if you're doing Space Marines.
Okay.
Yeah, ridiculously overpowered.
Yep. A few strike cruisers and escorts, and you're pretty much done.
OP Marines, what a shot.
Yeah. Coming your way soon.
It's not so much their ships, it's their firepower that makes them absurd.
Yeah. And they've got Thunderhawk gunships.
Yeah, they what's the correct term? Some sort of flying abuse.
Yep. Absolutely ridiculous.
Their ability to board and the sort of people is horrible.
It is horrific. It's what Space Marines are all about. Board the opponents and destroy them. It is good. It's a great game. I'm actually shocked that you've never played it. Really
it was in my I'm too busy going out and listening to metal and drinking beer phase, and I had no one to play with.
That's fair enough.
I think if you like Legions Imperialis, you will really love Battlefleet Gothic because it's very similar. Like a lot of the principles in it are very similar.
Yeah, it's a very simple game to play as well. There's really nothing, especially if you leave some of the advanced rules alone. There's really not much challenging to it. So it is a game you can play actually really quite quickly. You probably could get a game out of the way in about an hour if you both knew what you're doing. I mean, we did, Karl, didn't we? It was much more than an hour for a game because we got a few in.
Yeah, until someone brings along 4 Cobra destroyers and
or 16 Cobra destroyers.
Yeah,
as I said, the only reason I've got that many.
There's not a limit on those, but there's a moral limit.
There's a moral limit,
yeah. Alan just always recognised that when it comes to bringing frick units.
What, you mean like 12 Necron Wraiths?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only reason I have 16 destroyers is because the cruisers failed every time I printed a tray, a plate. So I couldn't be asked to redo it all, so I just printed them again, and each one had like...
Prepare the cheese cannon, it's time to fire.
Exactly.
Every army in Battlefleet Gothic has got its, or Navy I should say, has got its way of cheesing things. With the Imperials, it's Nova cannons and torpedoes.
Yeah. And with the Necrons, it's just put them on the board.
You can lance everyone off the table pretty violently. Yeah. Lances are the equivalent of something like a las cannon.
It's really good though, Matt, because it's got the flavour that I was talking about with how each army plays. So with the Eldar, for example, you choose a side of the board to be sunward, and then the Eldar move at a speed depending on what their orientation to that edge of the board is.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so they get faster if they're sunward.
And they have weapons that ignore... Haven't they got weapons that ignore shields?
Depending on the orientation of your target as well. Your weapons batteries.
They've got weapons that ignore shields as well, haven't they, the Eldar? Am I thinking?
Yes, and torpedoes that can change course.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting.
I remember having fun with... I do remember having fun with the Eldar. Actually, you know what? I might have to print off an Eldar fleet as well. But not Necrons. Necrons are banned.
Necrons are filth. They are just the dirtiest. If someone turns up with Necrons, they're basically telling you they're a prick. So unlike all other races, Necrons basically ignore. They don't need to have an arc on their weapons.
Nope.
They just turn up and go Star Pulse and kill things.
Yeah.
Or Particle Whip and slap people off the table.
They are.
The ships regenerate hull points.
Genuinely horrific.
They've got faster than light drives, so you fire a load of torpedoes at them and they just go nope and disappear.
Psych.
Yeah, they're horribly powerful.
Yeah, we should definitely play some Battlefleet Gothic before GW ruin it.
It's a race against time before they butcher something else.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I've heard they're doing more time, and I hope they don't, because I think Thomas Purinen did such a great job on that game. Yeah, it had a few.
I was going to say the guy's off doing something else awesome at the moment. So.
Yeah. Trench Crusade currently fighting for space in my painting queue, along with just fucking everything else. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've got a Heretic Warband all sort of primed and ready to go.
Nice.
They're in my painting queue as well.
Awesome. Yeah, and I built myself an Antioch Warband and a Heretic. Normal Heretic dudes Warband.
Yeah, I thought I was going to go with Cult of the Seven-Headed Serpent, but the more I looked at the models, I really like the Heretic Troopers.
Oh, okay, you did. I thought you did do.
And the Artillery Witch.
I thought you did do the Cult. So... Yeah, okay, yeah. Those are the ones I backed on the Kickstarter, so I do need to print those off and do those as well. So, yeah.
Pumpkins, though.
Trench Crusade would be good all round. Or you got the Stigmatic Nuns.
Alan's entered the warp.
With their
Yes, it's about that time, man.
Oh, is Discord had enough, has it? Is it telling us?
Quickly, Karl needs to get up in like 4 hours or something.
No, I'm not in work tomorrow, but I am tired. I'm going to have to go soon.
That's cool. No, we'll call it there, guys.
I wondered why you were still on.
I don't work Mondays.
I've got to edit this thing at some point. Right, we're going to go then, guys. I hope you have fun, and
I think Alan's internet's probably died out again, so we might have to...
Oh, don't. I can still hear you guys. I don't know if you can hear me.
Call it there.
But I am going to disconnect it now. So.
Al, do you still function?
I still function. We will see you guys later. Bye.